Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharpe. Guys, it's Friday. How we doing?
Hi, Jenny.
Hi.
Oh, what? Where your glasses?
I need glasses to see what you got on, man.
You know what, man?
Huh? We got the 405 going on
You know
again.
what?
It's busier than the 405.
Next Friday, I'm wearing all black.
Okay. Are you?
Yeah, I'm wearing all black, too. We going to come
You
out
know what?
everybody.
I would compliment you for that. How are you?
I bet you would.
I'm ready to talk about the next LeBron, not the
Are
old
you?
LeBron.
Don't do that. Don't do
The
that,
old
Skip.
LeBron's
Skip,
just getting
don't
old.
do that. Why would you do
Moving
that?
on already.
Abel won.
Here we go.
There are no more. The mold broke. He broke the mold. Isn't that what you used to say? He broke the
A
mold?
star is born.
Oh, yeah, Ja Morant?
Oh, here we go.
Ja?
Yeah,
Ja.
Ja.
Ooh, give
He's
him-
your guy.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to talk about him. But speaking of LeBron, is he actually keeping stars away from LA? We're going to get to that. And then, does Tom Izzo need to calm down just a little bit? We are going to start, though, with maybe the future Zion Williamson. His Duke squad is a huge 27-point favorite in their first tournament game tonight, which is fitting since they're a big favorite to win the whole thing. The Blue Devils are actually the biggest favorite to win the tournament since the undefeated Kentucky team in 2015. And all eyes will be on Zion Williamson, who is fresh off being named MVP of the ACC tournament last week and is projected to be the #1 pick in the NBA draft. So, Shannon, you said earlier this week that Duke will not win it all. So when and how will they lose?
Well, how they will lose, I believe they'll lose the same way that undefeated Kentucky team lost. Their inability to hit outside shots. Once they could not get the ball in effectively to Karl Anthony Towns, all intents and purposes, Wisconsin played unbelievable that night, Skip.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, ta-da, they did have the player of the year, I think Kamansky, who's not in Charlotte, and Sam Decker, they played unbelievable. That was their national championship game because then they played Duke the following, that Monday, and then the game was over.
Let's see, Karl Anthony Zion. I'm just throwing it up there. But go ahead.
We know what Karl Anthony Towns is in the NBA, Skip.
We also know what he's not.
Yeah, we know what he is. Stop doing
Yeah.
that, Skip. I want you to stop. This is my turn
I
to
love
talk.
him, but
I
there's
can't
just
tell.
something missing. I don't know.
Look.
He plays in your town.
I know. I'm still.
I don't know.
Not
It
quite sure.
It could happen before we get to this point.
Yep.
But I think most likely in the national championship game, I believe North Carolina will take them down. I believe North Carolina should have won all 3 meetings. Now, you can say, well, the first meeting, Zion went down in the first 20 seconds. Okay, so they had 39 minutes and 40 seconds in Cameron. Okay, right?
Okay, I'll give you that. But there was a little shell shock going on.
A little shell shock, okay. In the ACC tourney, in the game in which Duke won, Carolina shot 4 from 27 from the three-point line.
That's a good point. I'll give you
And
that.
they're normally 36%. And it took them shooting that poorly, and it took Zion having a monster game, 31-11, and a tremendous putback with about 12 seconds left in the ball game in order for them to win that game.
And me to win yet another case of Diet Duke.
Okay,
Am I
Skip,
right?
but I'm gonna get it back.
I did the do.
I'm gonna get it back. I get it back right here.
You gotta do the do.
This time I'm gonna get it back right here.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Carolina should have won all 3 of those
Yep.
games, Skip. Duke is ranked 340th out of 353 schools in three-point shooting. And this is what we know about the tournament, Skip. You're going to have one of these games where you do not shoot the ball well or you do not play well, and somehow you're going to have to close that distance, say in the final 4 to 5 minutes of the ball game, to give yourself an opportunity to make a run at the team because they put a little distance between you two. I just believe that Duke's inability to shoot the three and their inability to shoot the outside shot consistently will be their downfall. Now, the thing is that when teams play them zone, you give up a lot of weak side rebounding to Zion, and that's where he punishes you at. And if you play them man, Gonzaga is another team that I think might get them because they beat them in the Maui Invitational.
They did.
And they was at full strength. They had Zion. They had RJ and Cam. They had everybody there. And Gonzaga beat the brakes up. Well, Gonzaga had them down, I think, by 1 point, like 18 points. Ended up being a 2-point ball game, and they missed a couple of chances at the end.
Like 5, but go ahead.
Oh, that ain't my fault.
It was
Point
pretty
blank.
early,
It's,
too.
so it's almost my turn, Jimmy.
That's all
Almost.
good.
Maybe, is the show over yet?
But-
I don't know.
Not yet.
Here's the thing. But if you play them man, Skip, you treat him like LeBron in the early years. You build a wall. You do not let him get into the paint. And if he wants to shoot that set shot 3 or he wants to shoot a mid-range, have at it. But I am not going to let you lay the ball up. I am not going to let you dunk on my head. That will be their undoing.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. So, what do we have bet on this? I just want to make sure what the bet
What, you
is.
want, a case or two?
Yeah.
You want a case or two?
I'll just do a case.
Okay.
Just a
Because
case.
I'm giving you the field. I'm giving you Michigan State and Gonzaga
Well, hey,
and Tennessee and
How about this,
Carolina
Skip?
and all of them.
If they don't get to the Final
Yeah.
Four, you got to pay me double.
That's wrong.
Yeah. You so confident, I'm giving you the
case,
field.
I'm betting against the field.
Yeah,
right?
but you say they so over with the biggest favorite since
So
2015.
That bet would mean that you're going to bet 2 cases on Tom Izzo's team to beat this team. Is that what you're talking about?
I'm betting 2 cases that if they get knocked out before the Final Four,
Okay.
you
Well,
owe me
who's
2
going to
cases.
knock them out?
It doesn't matter.
Virginia Commonwealth?
It doesn't matter.
Virginia Tech. How about Virginia Tech?
They got them earlier this year.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, is it one of those 2 or is it Michigan State? Because you need one of those 3 to win again, unless it's North Dakota State. Is Walk It To them going to play? I don't know.
Does it all.
Not at minus 27.
Okay.
They're not going to knock them out.
Minus 27. So, Mr. Sharpe,
Yes.
I'll take one case
Okay.
on Duke to win it all because I firmly believe that Duke is going to win it all because I believe that Zion Williamson is about to have 5 straight one shining moments. I think he's going to do it 5 straight times. And by the way, this will be the first of many shining moments that we're going to see in this young man's career going forward into the NBA. So I have one question just to close my case to you.
Okay.
When was the last time one school had 3 players picked in the top 5 of the NBA draft? The last time that happened was, help me out. How about never? How about never?
Kentucky had 2.
They
They had
did.
the first and 2.
They
first
had
and
1
second.
too.
Yeah.
They had Anthony Davis and Kid Gilchrist.
Yes.
Kid Gilchrist to Jordan. That didn't work out so well.
Oh, your guy.
I know.
The greatest player
have I ever
ever.
defended him as a picker of talent, as a personnel director? I have not. So this has never happened. And I believe it will because the unsung hero here is Cam Reddish. And I got to tell you, I really like Cam Reddish's game. He's 6'8", he's a smooth scorer. He's one of the better three-point shooters on a bad three-point shooting team. And do you remember what Cam Reddish did to Florida State?
He did.
He scored 23. He really took over the game in stretches, even though RJ had like 36 in that game.
The game that Zion went out, got a finger in the eye.
Correct. And what did Cam Reddish do at the end of the game?
He hit the buzzer beater.
He hit the buzzer beater. He hit a three-pointer.
Skip, I could have hit that shot.
There.
I could hit that one.
That's what you're going to start seeing more and more of. Because Cam Reddish on any other team in this tournament would be a Player of the Year candidate. In fact, I'm reading all the capsules on him, and the ESPN capsule said that Cam Reddish is the most natural player in this draft. Well, that's a mouthful. That's the 3rd best player on this team because we all know R.J. Barrett could go 2nd in this draft or maybe 3rd depending on who gets the 2nd pick and who needs a point guard, Ja Morant or not Ja Morant. So R.J.'s going to go 2-3, 3-2, and Cam Reddish very well might go 5 because Darius Garland out of the mighty Vanderbilt University basketball powerhouse program could go 4th in this
Have you ever had a
draft.
first-round pick in Vanderbilt?
First round
Draft pick in basketball.
Oh, thousands, starting with Clyde Lee. This is way before.
Man,
your
ain't
time.
nobody ever heard of no Clyde Lee.
Well, they call it Clyde Lee's balcony still there. He built the balcony, basically. They added it on to Memorial Gym. You don't know all this because it's way over your head. It's way out of your realm. Vanderbilt, basketball powerhouse. Starting to be a football powerhouse.
Don't do that, Skip.
Lots of high picks out of, starting to be.
Okay.
Starting to be.
Starting.
Always a baseball powerhouse. We beat Florida last
Fair
night
enough.
5-0. I don't know. We're going to do it again.
Vanderbilt is known as the school that skipped Bayless. No athletes or nothing. The school that skipped Bayless went
Athletes
through.
galore. So we know Zion's going to be a slam dunk #1 pick because Steve Kerr went so far a couple of months ago as to say, we thought we'd seen the last LeBron James, and here he is again. Not that their games are the same, but in impact, he's saying, Here comes another LeBron James. Are you going to bet against that guy in 5 straight NCAA games? Because I'm sorry.
I'm betting against their team.
I am not. So, again, Zion, R.J. Barrett, Cam Reddish, and then, wait a second, what about the point guard? Trey Jones is going to go somewhere in the first round. I don't think he'll be a lottery pick because he doesn't shoot it well enough. But can he defend?
He can defend.
Can he disrupt on defense?
His own ball pressure is unbelievable.
Can he slow the tempo and make the ball go to the right place at the right time? Yes, he can.
Well, that's another thing that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to keep Duke out of transition.
Okay.
Because he pressures the ball, and the next thing you know, you
They're
get guys
off to the
filling the
races.
lane, diving in lanes, and next thing you know, you get a dunk on the other end.
So there's another first-round draft pick on this team that you are betting against. So now I'm going to help your argument. I'm going to fortify all the points that you made by pointing out once again, they're a lousy three-point shooting team. They shoot 30% from three. And I have them at, you said 340th. I got them at 339th out of 353 schools. That's not very good.
Okay, I was off one school.
Okay, off one. You just rounded up. But
don't do that, Skip.
Free throw shooting, pretty pathetic because they rank 236th out of those 353 schools. In free throw shooting, they're 69%. God, that's LeBron territory.
Don't stop.
Am I right?
This is college basketball.
I right?
We
LeBron's
were above
now
college.
66%.
We don't go to college.
Yeah. Well, you didn't go to college.
Exactly.
It's true. If you had, you would have gone to Duke. I'm pretty sure.
And he won the national title.
I'm pretty sure he would have because was he not a man among kids at that point?
Really?
Yep, he was. Oh. So I will give you this. The one thing I despise about the NCAA tournament is you get only 5 fouls in a game that is 8 minutes shorter than an NBA game. So bad stuff can happen really fast where you get in foul trouble and you just stay in foul trouble and all of a sudden the game's over? We didn't even get going here.
And Duke is not deep.
Okay, Duke is not deep. They play 8 players, and in the ACC championship game, Zion and Trey played 40 minutes. They played the whole way, and RJ played 39 minutes, and Cam played 37 minutes. So I give you that. They go like barely 8 deep, okay? So I will give you that, but they're short games. They're always in weird places with weird referees that you haven't had all year. Weird stuff can happen in that little 2-hour window that is the March Madness game, right? That's why they do call it March Madness. Here's the other thing that does concern me about Duke. I admire R.J. Barrett's game. I do not admire his mentality because he is ball dominant. Should I translate into ball hoggish? Because he is ball hoggish. He needs the basketball, wants the basketball, commands the basketball, and dribbles the basketball. His usage rate is 42%. No, I'm sorry, 32%. 32%, still very high, to Zion's 28%. So the ball's going to be in his hands. And what happened in that Gonzaga game in Maui, which I watched from start to finish against Gonzaga, what happened? Well, with 1:45 left, Zion Williamson took his last shot. Would you believe that tied the score? And did Zion touch the ball again the rest of the game? Nope. He did not. Did RJ touch it 5 more times? He did. He shot it 5 more times. Guess how many went in? None. None. So that's how they lost to Gonzaga. But I believe they're going to get revenge over the same Gonzaga team, which I like. I respect them. I respect Mark Few. They've got talented kids, but they don't.
Size.
They got size,
big.
but they don't have this kid.
No. But they can match up, Skip. They got big guys, Killian Tilly.
He just came back.
Yeah.
And I like him because he
didn't play.
Threes.
Yeah.
He did not play.
He didn't play.
And he's a big three-point shooter.
Yeah.
Yep. I got it. No, I know.
No, I'm going to have it,
Yep.
which is the case of Duke. That's what I'm going to have.
Okay, but you said you were willing to bet they wouldn't even get to Gonzaga.
No. I'm saying if they they would play Gonzaga.
In the national semis. Is that what you mean?
I don't care. I don't care as long as they go down and you sent me a nice 12-pack, 24-pack of Duke on the table.
Okay, well, which is it? Where are they going to go? I need you to go beyond the record right now. They will fall to.
I got 2 choices.
Well, I don't want 2 choices. I want one choice.
I got Gonzaga. If Gonzaga don't get them, Carolina getting them.
Okay.
Carolina getting them.
So is that what we're going to do? Carolina over Duke in the national final?
All the way.
Yep.
Is that where you're going to?
Trey Jones shooting 29% against Carolina,
I
21% from the 3.
Okay.
Now, I give you.
Why do you think Carolina shot so poorly from 3 that night?
They were just missing wide open
the
shots.
ACC tournament.
They
It was
just missed wide
the
open shots.
semifinal.
Hold on. You make it seem like Duke blew them out. They had the lead with
Nip and
144.
tuck. I thought they were going to lose.
Right.
Yeah, and then I thought, I won again.
Yes. I mean, so
I turned to Ernestine. I said, I did it again. Arms up.
Let that sink in.
Arms up. I did it again.
As poorly as they shot the ball.
Who made the shot?
Zion was a monster that night.
He was.
31-11. And it took a tip in with 12 seconds to win by 1.
It wasn't a tip in. It was a putback, and it
Whatever.
was spectacular.
Whatever.
It was like the springiest, quickest jump I've
was.
ever seen. Boom! Back up.
It was.
Boom!
I think the other guy wasn't even landed yet before Zion was back up and putting the ball back in.
Okay? So, you know what? As I keep calling, he is a big ball of fiery joy. I've never seen a kid play with more joyful sort of emotion than this kid plays with. He loves to play basketball. I didn't love the fact that he came back to risk it on this knee, but I don't know anything about the knee. I guess it was just sprained or tweaked or whatever.
Right.
He seems fine. God bless him. I'm knocking on wood for him that he gets healthy through this tournament, but he is back with a vengeance.
Yep.
He's unbelievable.
It made him miss basketball so much that now he's just on a tear.
He averaged 27 and 10 in the ACC tournament.
Yeah.
But Skip, another big thing that you got to do with Duke, you got to keep him out of transition because, as you mentioned, that Trey Jones is so good at on-ball pressure, and then you get Barrett, you get Zion diving in the passing lanes,
Yep.
and the next thing you know, they're dunking the ball on the other end, getting themselves going. So you have to keep them out of transition. If they're going to knock down threes, Skip, if they're going to beat you from the outside, you just chalk it up. You got to give up something, and I'm willing to concede giving you three-point shots. I'm willing to concede giving you outside shots. But what I'm not going to let you do is crash the boards, pound me inside with Zion, because that's what they want to do. That's how they really beat people, because they kill you on the board because Zion is a monster. Because
By the way, they are second in the nation in rebounding.
Yeah.
By the way, they are first in the nation in block shots.
Yeah.
That has a lot
and
to do
he's
with
unbelievable.
Zion.
For sure.
Skip, the weak side is where he gets you.
Okay.
Because all of a sudden you think you beat your guy and you got a layup, and here he comes almost hitting his head on the rim,
Yep.
throwing your shot 7 rows up.
Okay.
But
They're 8th in the nation in scoring, which is pretty good because they defend very well. The reason Carolina shot so poorly from 3 that night, there was some pressure because Zion's back. But more important, Trey Jones is in your face. All of them are in your face.
Okay.
They're just more athletic. They're more explosively athletic than Carolina is.
okay, we're going to see.
Yeah.
All I know is all that they're more, this is what I don't understand. A team that's more explosively athletic wins by 1 on a putback with 12 seconds. Now, when you're more, you're supposed to be much better. You're supposed to win that game by 12 points. Why wasn't Zion sitting out? Why he got to play 40 minutes when you're more explosive and more talented? Why you got to play 40?
He's just getting his legs
to
back
play.
underneath him.
Barrett had to play 39. Trey Jones had to play 40. Reddish playing 37. Why you playing all them minutes?
Who won?
Y'all.
Oh,
it's
y'all? I'm
it's
not
2 to
even
1.
a y'all.
It's 2 to 1. About to be 3-1.
Who's got the best coach in college basketball?
Y'all-
I don't know. Who is it? I think Coach K
Coach
is.
K.
Right?
He's up there,
Yes.
yeah.
So one of the top 2-point guards in college basketball is Duke's. We're going to talk about Ja here in just
Yeah,
a
we
few
will.
minutes,
we
right?
know he's number 1.
Okay,
It's not even
all right.
close.
Okay, well, I think it is close.
Stop it, Skip.
Well, it's close.
No, it's not close.
Well, at least he's in the ballpark. He's
Well-
going to be a first-round pick.
Well, how about
that
this?
puts him in the ballpark.
LA is close to San Francisco
Okay.
when you look at it in the scheme of things next to Sydney, Australia.
Yep.
But is it really close?
Does Trey Jones have a brother who plays for the Timberwolves? Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Brother's pretty good.
Okay.
So maybe it kind of runs in the family. Do you think he feels like he belongs in the Final Four? I think he does feel like he belongs, right?
So he's better than his brother at Timberwolves?
I think he is going to be better than his brother.
Oh.
I just do.
People
okay?
thought Eli was going to be better than Peyton.
Okay. So the best player in college basketball is on Duke, and maybe the second or third best is on Duke, and maybe one of the top 5 is on Duke.
And they
I
got
don't
the
know,
best-
and you're betting against
And
Duke?
the best coaches on the sidelines of Duke, which is going to make this more impressive
Huh.
when Carolina or Gonzaga take them down.
Really?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Now what you going to say? Skip, you know the best team does not always win. You know that. That's what makes March Madness so spectacular.
Yep.
It's one and done.
You know
And
what I'm
even
going to say?
What?
Diet Mountain Dew, the breakfast of champions, the
You
nectar
won't
of
be
the
getting any.
gods.
You
That's
won't
what
be
I
getting
always
any.
say.
You won't be
That's what
getting
I'm going to
any.
be saying.
You will not be getting
You know what?
any.
I'm betting the chalkiest chalk there ever was, right?
And you will not get any dew. the gods will not be dropping out dew that day.
I think
Not that day?
I like my chances here.
I like my chances.
Do you?
Yeah.
I
you know
think
what?
you're nervous.
I like my chances even more. I want another case.
Do you?
Yeah, I want 2 cases.
2 cases?
You accept?
Really?
Yes.
Yes, I accept.
Ooh.
I'm so many ahead.
You guys-
What's there to lose?
You
right?
6 ahead. Now you about to be 4.
Huh?
You about to be 4.
Yeah, I wanted you to bet on North Dakota State today.
Yeah.
Give me 27.
Different guy.
27? No.
Give me 27.
No.
Skip, North Dakota, they known for football.
I don't know anything about North Dakota State.
exactly.
So
I
I'm
don't
not
either.
going to bet on something I don't even know about. I've watched 0 North Dakota State basketball.
You know about
What
them.
are they, the Bison?
The Bison.
Yeah.
They known for FCS football.
Yes,
I
they
think
are.
they won, what, 4 or 5 national straight championships?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what they're known for. This is basketball.
How'd they
I know
get
you're a
in?
fan
I don't
of
even
them.
know how they got in. Are they one of those
They won the
counterfeit
division.
teams that won the tournament, their
Right.
conference tournament, or what?
I mean, their
for them.
football team might beat Duke football team.
Yeah. I don't know. David Cutcliffe is
Guys, they went 19 and 15 this year, so
19 and 50.
15.
just for the
They're
record.
counterfeit, and they won the tournament.
They did.
Am I right?
They did.
Okay, that's how they
I
got
mean,
in.
it could be worse. We have a lot more to get to from yesterday. We will talk about Ja, but also we need to talk about Tom
do.
Izzo. Did he cross the line yesterday? We'll discuss that next. No mercy. Michigan State won yesterday, but everyone is talking about Tom Izzo. In the second half, an irate Izzo ran up to freshman Aaron Henry during a timeout, tapped him in the midsection. Then in the huddle, he lunged at Henry and had to be held back. The problem appeared to be Henry not running back on defense. And after the game, Izzo explained himself.
You think there was one thing that would make me that angry? You don't know me very well. There was a bunch of things, and hey, he's playing a lot of minutes too. He's tired too. But when you're a freshman now at this time of year, you don't make mental mistakes on things that when we're telling a guy which way he goes or not running back or, there were some things Aaron didn't do a very good job of. And yet, you know what? Like happened, I did get after him, and he did respond, and he did make a couple big buckets, and he did make some big free throws. But that's not good enough. This is one and done time, The my bads are out the window. If they're my bads because that team played better or that guy played better, if it's my bad because I decided to jog back instead of sprint back, then it is your bad, and you're going to hear about it. I get a kick out of you guys. Get after somebody because you're trying to hold them accountable. I don't know what kind of business you're in, but I'll tell you what, if I was the head of a newspaper and you didn't do your job, you'd be held accountable. That's the way it is.
Okay, Shannon, did you like that explanation from Tom Izzo?
No, I didn't. Because guess what? In the newspaper business, Skip, those columnists, those editors, they get paid. That freshman's not getting paid, Tom Izzo. And I want to ask you, did you have any bads in that game? Every set that you called, every rotation that you asked that your team get in was the right one. Am I correct, Tom Izzo? Because if that's the case, I want to know why this other team scored. Because you was right on point. You see, Skip, the thing is, and he out there with the Arthur hand like he's Arthur, he all balled up. Let's just say for the sake of argument, Skip, I give him the first one. I said, you know what? He's upset because the guy missed a rotation. He's upset because the guy did not get in the right set in which he had called.
I think he's upset because he was jogging back on defense. But
Okay,
go
he
ahead.
jogged back.
Okay.
He met him at midcourt. He met him at the court.
He did.
He got into him,
He
chewed
did.
him out. Okay, coach, you're right. I'm over with, done with. Why, when you sitting in the huddle, you got to lunge at him and the players got to calm you down?
Yep.
That's when you know you've gone too far. When the players must be the adults in the room. What happens if they don't do that? Now he probably headbutts him. And I know everybody said, these kids are soft these days and you can't coach them. You're absolutely right. Because there's a time, guess what, Skip? You remember when Bobby Knight used to do all that? Bobby Knight coached like he coached in the 70s, the 80s, and even into the 90s. But it got to the 2000s, they say this is unacceptable behavior.
They did.
You can't raise your kids like your mom and your dad raised you. I couldn't raise my kids like my grandmother and my mom raised me.
True.
Times change.
Yep.
And he loves him. He loves him. Skip, you know what? There was a time that Bobby Knight loved Neil Reed. Bless his soul, Neil Reed passed away about 6 months ago at the age of 36. Come on, this is unacceptable. You made your point. You don't have to do the kid like that. You've already made your point. When you met him at the court, son, I need you to run back. Son, I need you to get to the rotation. Son, I need you to understand the set. You made that point crystal and abundantly clear. There was no need for the second go round at the kid. And another thing, Tom Izzo, you talk about the newspaper business. I don't know if you're going to hold the 12-year-old newspaper boy to the same standard you hold the columnists and the editors. I'm just saying, since we're in the newspaper business. Come on, Tom. You're better than, and I know a lot of his former players have come to his defense. These players, you can't do this and all that. You're absolutely right. Because the way I got coached, where, in football, Skip, if we did something wrong, we had to run, or we couldn't get water for hours. You can't do that anymore, Skip. That's not acceptable. Coaches grabbing the guy's face mask and doing all that. You can't do that. Tom knows better than this. Like I said, even if I concede and give him the first one, the second one was way, way, way overboard. So much so that a couple of his players, had to grab Tom Izzo and say, Coach, come on, sit down. And even then, one of the coaches came over his back and tried to, talk to the kid. I thought he went too far on the second go-round, Skip, even if I were to give you the first one. And I don't think the first one was called for. I believe you could have got your point across without doing that. Maybe you're not doing a good enough job explaining it to him. Because if he's still making those same mental mistakes, like you said, those same mental mistakes that he's making, that he made early in the year, that he's making now in these games, maybe you need to do a better job of coaching him up and explaining it to him.
So for all the great things I saw yesterday during the NCAA tournament, this took the life out of it, just watching this live, because this went wrong.
Yeah.
This got ugly. This was cringeworthy, where I had to look away from it after a while. I know Tom Izzo a little bit off camera. He's very different off camera. He can be a fun guy to be around.
Right.
He can be charming. He's got a lot of friends in the national media.
Yes.
And I think he cultivates those friendships with a purpose. He's a good college basketball coach. I'm not sure he qualifies as a great college basketball coach, but we could debate that.
Yeah.
But this was just a bad look for college basketball and a worse look for a Michigan State that, Lord knows, has had its share of scandal, right?
Yeah.
And if you know Tom Izzo, he grew up with Steve Mariucci in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, wanting to be a football player like Steve was, and Steve obviously became a very good football coach. Izzo wanted to coach football. Izzo coaches basketball like it's football. Izzo had the infamous rebounding drill, and I'm pretty sure they had to do away with it because of all the things you just said, because it's now. But he used to make his players in their rebound drill put on helmets and shoulder pads to fight for rebounds, where they could go full contact going after the basketball. So he's built like that. His classic quote is, players play, but tough players win. So he wants you to attack the game of basketball and do it the right way, all out, 100%. So he's been known for doing this because he's right out of the Bobby Knight mold.
Right.
And Calhoun at Connecticut was known for jumping in his player's face. And I think Izzo, his idol was more Woody Hayes, college football, who just went finally completely over the edge. He wouldn't have lasted long in today's world either, right?
No.
But he went so far as to take a swing at a rival player at the
in the Gator Bowl.
In the Gator Bowl. And that was pretty much it for Woody Hayes. So I hark back to all the coaches I've known. I had the honor of knowing Coach Wooden, John Wooden, right here in Los Angeles.
Westwood.
The Wizard of Westwood. Arguably the greatest college basketball coach.
It'd be hard to argue.
Up there, okay. And he was such a gentle soul, but he was firm. He was a disciplinarian, as Bill Walton will be the first to tell you.
Yes.
Right? But he did it off camera. He did it behind closed doors.
Right.
He didn't do it during the game. He would get up into a play. He would tell you what's what.
Yeah, right.
But again, this, and then I had the honor of getting to cover Phil Jackson, get to know him pretty well. He was the complete flip side of this.
Right.
He just sat back. All of his teaching would be done off the court, away from basketball, right? When the game starts, he's pretty much letting the players decide the game.
Right.
And he would never, ever get in any player's face. Now, he's coaching professional basketball as opposed to college. But one guy who was, to me, the greatest coach ever in college and pro basketball, if you combine, was Larry Brown. And he would get upset and get in players' faces occasionally, but nothing like this, because this is over the edge.
Right.
This goes psycho. This is the dark side of a Tom Izzo who's better than this, right? Isn't he a better coach than that?
Right. Skip, even if you give him the first one,
Yeah.
even if you say, son, I need you to sprint back. Son, you missed a set.
Yeah.
Son, how you going to miss that rotation? Understand, and I was reading what Reggie Miller said. I mean, you would find it hard to believe that Tom Izzo is acting like this after they just went on the 10-0 run. So I get that. But what I really, really got the big problem with is that now, you like to think we've had a cooling off period.
Yeah.
We sitting down and around in the huddle.
That's a good point.
And he lunges again. At what point in time? Because so now you're telling me, Tom, you're not doing a good job of teaching him. Because if you got to have another response on top of the response you've already given him, there's a disconnect somewhere along the line.
So what has happened to Tom Izzo's Michigan State teams the last 3 March Madnesses? What's happened? We go back to 2016. Remember? Infamous.
They flamed out.
First round exit,
Yep.
the hands of Middle Tennessee State, right? That was a 2-15 matchup,
Yes.
and the 15 won that one. Then there's probably no shame in this, but they lost in 2017 second round to Kansas, who was the 1 seed. They were the 9 seed, and they lost by 20, so it wasn't even close.
Right.
And then last year, as a 3 seed, they lost to 11 seed Syracuse in the second round. Not great. So I'm suggesting here that the pressure yesterday was on the coach more than on the players.
Absolutely.
I think it was manifesting itself that the coach is saying, don't do this to me.
Right.
This is me. I'm the king of this castle here at Michigan State.
The frustration,
right?
Skip, those early round exits.
Yeah.
He's a 2 seed now.
Yeah.
He didn't want what happened 3 years ago
Yeah.
to happen again. He's talking about, oh, these my bads. Yeah, that my bad
Right.
that the 2-15 is a 2 seed is gone again at the hands of a 15. That would be your bad.
Man, I just, Aaron Henry. How about Henry Aaron, the old Henry Aaron? Would he have taken this? Probably not.
But Skip,
Right?
the notion is that all these, and I get it, Skip, because I grew up in an era of the coaches were different.
Sure.
They talk to you different, but you can't do that. This is a different time now.
Yep.
Why is it so hard for people to understand that times evolve, that you must evolve your way of coaching, your
Yep.
way of teaching, your way of thinking? It is so hard. People are like, man, I remember, okay, I get that. Because I grew up hard, too. I played football in the late 70s and the 80s and the 90s, well, the 70s and the 80s, and, man, it was rough. It was rough, but you can't do that now. First of all, people ain't going to let you do their kids like that now. And second of all, administrations are not going to let you do that because they don't want to get the brake suit off. So come on, Tom, you're a better coach than this, and I know you can get your point across without trying to belittle the guy in public.
I grew up in an era even before your era. When I was playing high school baseball, I had a baseball coach who was a complete psycho who got away with, I was probably the best player on that team, he got away with getting physical with all of us, including most of all me, shaking me. One time I hit a line drive back to the pitcher with the bases loaded, which turned into a double play that ended the inning. He came to the dugout and shook me against the brick wall, the concrete wall. That there's no way he would have lasted today. You'd be out. But I grew up that way, so I get this mentality. But he's still living in the 60s, to me, Tom Izzo.
That is
And
interesting.
he's getting away with 60s, with Woody Hayes behavior. And at what point does the president of his school, which has been under fire, finally say, this is just a bad look for us?
Yeah.
Like, can't you can coach without doing that.
And it was
you can yell and scream without balling your fist up.
Skip, it was so acceptable. I remember playing, I was thinking about the 6th grade, and I was an offensive lineman then. And my guy didn't even make the play. But the guy on the other guard guy made the play, and it broke the running back leg. Well, I get to the sideline, and the coach shaking me. Well, I'm 6th grade. I couldn't do anything.
No.
I go home and tell my grandma. I thought she was going to be upset. You know what she told me, Skip? You needed it. It'll make you tough.
I know. Well, and this is what, and over the years, some parents have sent their players to Izzo like you send them to the Marines, like to boot camp, to toughen them for life, right?
Wow.
I don't know.
That didn't work for me, Skip. I don't like all that.
It's his 24th season at Michigan State. I think you make a good point that he may need to evolve as well. And I think when Henry said, I've gotten it worse in practice, that leads me, I question what then is going on
Yep.
behind the scenes, and this is everyone watching, and it is a lot to take in, and maybe it is time to evolve.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
so
make
he
some
won
changes.
one national championship with Mateen Cleaves,
Yes.
Mo Pete,
Yeah.
remember that group? Josh Richardson, Charlie Bell. You
Right.
know, it was a talented team. They beat Mike Miller's Florida. Remember that?
Yep.
Okay, so that's it. He's gotten to 7 Final Fours. I give you that. But 2 championship games and won 1. Is that enough to give you a pass for this?
Remember what we talked about, Skip? You win a title,
Yeah.
be it as a coach, as
Yeah.
a player, it gives you certain credibility, it gives you certain cachet that you would. Now, if he didn't have that on his resume,
Yep.
ain't nobody tolerating that. That's why they let Bobby Knight get away, because he had 3 of those, Skip.
That's true.
So you will tolerate a lot. You
Yep.
tolerate a lot from coaches and players when their resume is impeccable.
Yep.
All right, next up for Michigan State, Minnesota tomorrow. So we'll see. They beat them by 24, though, last month, so it might not be as hard, but
I don't know. Minnesota's
Gophers.
certainly figured it
I wanted
out.
to throw that
No,
in.
that ain't Rick Pitino. That's the son coaching Minnesota. So
I got it.
Okay, fair enough.
If
They
they
probably-
make 15 threes, they got a shot.
well,
Fair
yeah,
enough.
they make 15-3, they're going to win. They got better machines.
No mercy. We're going to move on to a different coach. Doc Rivers shut down any rumors this week that he would leave the Clippers for the Lakers by agreeing to an extension. Now, we might know why he won't switch locker rooms. ESPN's Michael Wilbon reported Doc was told to not take the Lakers job because of LeBron and his refusal to be coached. LeBron's current coach, Luke Walton, is expected to be fired after this season. So, Shannon, what do you make of this?
I make it this, you know what it is? I see what's going on. I see what everybody doing. A lot of people doing this. They got him on the ropes.
Piling on?
They got him on the rope for the first time in 14 years. LeBron James will not be in the playoffs. For the first time in 9 years, LeBron James will not represent a conference in the NBA Finals. So you know what? He's down. The best time.
Just a quick point of order, though. I know Michael Wilbon very well,
Yes.
and he has nothing but huge respect for LeBron James.
Yes.
But go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
For the first time, all this is going to happen in one season. He goes to the Lakers, a gold standard franchise in which they won 35 games last year. Look like they won't even win 35 this year with LeBron.
Yep.
You know, my grandfather used to say, boy, the best time to kick a man is when he's down, because he's right there and there's no better time to kick him. You got him. But I want LeBron to take a mental note of this. LeBron, you see, they coming for you now.
Okay.
Because you're down, they think they got you wounded. But the most dangerous animal in the world, Skip, is a wounded animal. Now, if you think he's gonna go down without a fight, you're sadly mistaken. Now, I grew up on a farm, and I know it doesn't matter. They think you might be trying to help him, but if he's wounded or it's wounded, you better be careful.
Wounded goat, right?
Y'all got it. Yeah, you wounded. He wounded. He nicked profusely. But you know
Bleeding?
what? Yeah. But don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We don't worry about that, Skip.
Okay.
Even if it's the case, it's hard for me to believe that Doc Rivers has coached 20 plus years in the NBA. LeBron James been in the league 16. So it's hard to believe that he hadn't heard this before. You know, the guy that gets the most credit for his coaching career is Ty Lue. You don't think Ty Lue and Doc Rivers have talked? You don't think coaches talk when they get in the coaches clinic?
Ty got his start under Doc.
Right.
Yeah.
When he was in Orlando. On the bench with him, I think, didn't he go with him with the Clippers, to the Clippers also?
I believe so.
Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is not anything new.
Yeah.
Maybe what happened was there were some very close friends of Doc to confirm what Doc probably already knew. It's kind of like, man, I'm sure glad man, you ain't want to go there. And somebody tell you, I'm glad I didn't go. Yeah, it was terrible. You're like, you know what? I'm glad I didn't go. Okay, Doc probably had this. But I believe LeBron James is one of these guys, Skip. He values a guy that played in the NBA. Doc played 15 years, if I'm not mistaken. And he's been a head coach, and he's won. LeBron James has never had that. Eric Spoelstra was a good coach, but LeBron James, like, hold on. When I left, how many titles he won? Before I got there, how many titles he won? Mike Brown, and they win 60 games, 66 games, okay. He's an assistant in Golden State. He ain't the head guy. So I get all that. And I hope this is not the case, Skip, because for me, having played the game, Skip, most of my head coaches, especially late in my career, weren't very much older than I was. But I never thought I couldn't, and I was never the athlete or never the player that LeBron is. But I always felt I wanted to be coached maybe I can just get a different point of view. Maybe the way I was doing something, I could do it a little better. Hearing it from him or hearing it. And I respected all my coaches. I didn't agree with all of them. But I never, and don't ever, I don't care. I think that's one of the things that we love so much about Tom Brady. And I granted now, that's a whole different element because you got Coach Belichick. You talk about the resume of resumes. If he can't coach you, you know you don't even want to be coached. But I hope that's not the case. I know it's tough because here's also the other thing about coaching a player like LeBron James. The expectations are not division titles. It's not getting to the finals. It's winning. Magic Johnson had the utmost respect for Pat Riley because he played. Now, in his third year, he accepted it and then 4 more titles. That's not easy to coach those guys. They demand it. You better know what you're talking about, Skip Bayless. You better know what you're talking about because those guys are savants. They have the highest basketball IQ, and they're going to call you to the table. So, Doc Rivers, do I believe that some of Doc's friends probably got in his ear and said, you don't want that job because of LeBron? Absolutely. Do I believe there are a lot of people piling on, love the fact that LeBron James is not in the playoffs, that LeBron James is looking wounded? Absolutely. And taking a pound of flesh right now? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
You got this?
And the words of Sam Cooke, a change going to come. Oh, it's going to come.
The change better be KD and Kyrie.
Don't worry about what the change is. It's going to come.
Yeah.
Okay.
Year 17 is next year.
It is.
Anyway, back to this issue. I am not going to pile on. I'm not going to condemn. I'm not even going to criticize. This is one big duh to me. LeBron hasn't wanted to be coached for the last 10 years. He has the highest IQ in this game. He can coach the coach because he's beyond the coach mentally, vision-wise.
Yes.
He's seeing things the coach can't see. Ty Lue was a nice match for LeBron because Ty Lue rolled with it. He got it. He had the utmost respect for LeBron, but it nearly put Ty Lue away trying to deal with the nightly drama from the Drama King because it's hard, man.
Hard issues. They had to take
It's hard. He
did have a hard
He
time.
missed 9 games late in the year last year on sabbatical.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's hard or more. I don't know what
And
it
he
was.
missed a few games. Remember at the half?
He did. He
Drew
had to
was
go in.
feeling it, yes.
You're right. You're right.
So that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
And remember, he got asked in the playoffs last year. If a guy came up to me on the street and just said, "What's it like coaching LeBron James?" and he just kind of chuckled painfully and dropped his head, and he said, "You have no idea." I'm just paraphrasing the quote, but he just said, "You have no idea."
It's tough.
It's tough, man. It's to the point where, remember back in the old days, going back to Bill Russell, Lenny Wilkins, Bob Cousy,
Players, coaches.
they even Cowens, Dave Cowens, they played and they coached. Well, if there's ever been a candidate for a player coach, it would be LeBron James.
I don't think you can do that now, though, Skip.
I don't know. I tried to look it up before. I'm not sure. I'm not sure they outlawed it.
Yeah,
but
I
if
think
there's
so.
ever been a candidate, it's this guy.
Yes.
Now, would LeBron want to put himself in the line of fire for that? Because then you're getting double jeopardy because you're going to get criticized for the coaching moves or lack of and your own performance. But I'm talking about in year 17, 18, 19, would he be a better coach for this team than Luke Walton would be? Yes, he would. Seriously. And I don't think Luke is long for the world. I could be wrong about that, depending on what Jeannie Buss thinks of Luke Walton. But to me, Doc wants to coach. So why would he inflict that upon himself? It could be a good ride, especially if you got KD and Kyrie and LeBron. Now, again, it's going to be the all-time media circus and Doc's pretty good at handling the media. But think about this. Is Doc not in the Coach of the Year debate right now?
Oh, absolutely.
Hey,
absolutely.
right?
Yes.
Along with Kenny Atkinson in Brooklyn and
Nate McMillan.
Mike Malone in Denver.
Nate McMillan in Indy. How he got them to the 4th seed, I don't know.
Nick Nurse in Toronto, but it's
Yes,
somewhere in
yes.
there. I think Kenny Atkins has got a good shot with Brooklyn because they came out of nowhere.
Right.
Okay.
They're pretty good. But the point is, Doc has pulled a rabbit out of his hat again with this team, right? They gave up their best player to Philadelphia.
Oh, that's where he pulled it out of? I thought he pulled it out of somewhere else.
Okay, well, maybe. Okay, that's fair too. Okay, so why at this point, with the reputation that he has, why would he need to go across the street, so to speak, down the hall,
Barely,
and coach LeBron James?
If you don't mind me asking, Skip Bayless, can you tell me who was an Einstein math teacher?
Okay, well, I'll buy that.
Can you tell me who?
I'm sure there was one.
Who proofread for Hemingway? or Dickens.
Okay.
Come on now. When you talk about somebody like this here, you let him go.
Max Perkins.
You
Yes, he
let him
did.
go?
Maxwell Perkins was their editor. I know
For
this.
who? He ain't do nothing. He said, oh, get that.
You know what? He did a lot.
Get that to me on time. That's what you got a deadline.
He did a lot for those guys.
You got a
That's
time.
interesting.
Hemingway, Fitzgerald.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's what
He
I'm
did a
saying.
lot.
Don't get-
He did a lot. But your math teacher works better for Einstein.
Yeah, that's
Sure,
Einstein, Skip.
Yeah.
That's Einstein.
Okay.
But
it is.
you know-
Well, I just said that. He's got the highest. I can make a case that him and Magic might have the highest IQs I've ever seen on a basketball court.
But I just think the thing is, I believe, and I do believe, it's difficult to coach a great player because they demand that you be on your best at all times. They got a question, they need you to have an answer. Now, I'll get back to you. They need the answer on spot. But I believe LeBron would be more receptive to Doc Rivers given his resume.
Okay.
He's never had a coach who had Doc Rivers' resume. Now, Eric Spoelstra got more titles, but LeBron's like, hold on. We still
Okay,
think.
but Doc's got an ego too because he's earned an ego.
Yes.
Okay, so what does LeBron do during the basketball game? He puts himself in and takes himself out when he decides. It's not the
Well,
coach's decision.
we on a minutes restriction right now. We
okay.
go 8 minutes
okay,
in the
but
first.
that's your choice. That's your decision.
No, they decided. Magic, Rob came to me
Yeah.
and my trainer and asked me, said, would I be receptive to this? And after I went home
now
and I
you're
slept.
speaking for LeBron
No, I'm
as
just
if you are LeBron.
Hold on.
Right?
And
I noticed.
they asked me would I be receptive.
Okay.
I said, let me go home and sleep on it. I went home and slept on it. I talked to Savannah about it. Savannah said, what do you think about this here, babe? You know, we're not going to the playoff. They want me to, be on a minutes restriction. She's like, well, baby, I want you to do what's best for you because you got 3-4 more good years as a top 2-3 player in the NBA. So I went back, got back to Magic. We huddled up together. Luke wasn't around to this. I talked to Magic, I talked to Rob Pelinka,
Okay.
me, and my trainer.
Okay.
I say, I'll be willing to do that. How many
Okay.
minutes are you talking about?
Okay, but from night to night, what happens is LeBron just suddenly exits the court and goes down to the
Yeah, I'm
end of the
tired.
bench, and it leaves the coach like,
No, it doesn't.
I guess I got to
He don't
put
just
somebody
walk,
in.
no, stop doing that, Skip. I see what he does. He raises his
did
hand.
that to
He
Ty
points.
Lue all the time.
He points.
I used to see Ty Lue look around like,
Oh,
What, you wanted to play the whole game?
no, I'm just saying he just takes himself out when he feels like
there
it.
was a guy
That's LeBron James. I'm not criticizing. I'm stating facts.
There was a-
That's what he does to a coach, and Doc would not love that.
There was a guy that once, I think it was in 61-62 season, Wilt Chamberlain played 48.5 minutes. He played every minute of every game, and basically when it went to overtime. So he played 48.5 minutes per game. I've never seen documented of anybody else playing that many minutes.
Okay.
So you want LeBron to play all the minutes.
I don't want him to. I'm just saying
Okay,
he
so we-
takes himself out when he decides.
Well, I know I'm tired,
okay?
so I'm coming out.
All right, that's fine. Do you know more than the coach knows? Yes, you do.
I know
give
about
you that.
yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Not you, LeBron.
I mean, LeBron.
Yeah.
I know about LeBron.
Okay.
I mean, but some of the greats. You know what, Skip? I don't know. I know you're not a weightlifting fanatic. I am. Vasily Alexia, who's the
Am
greatest.
I not a weightlifting fanatic?
No, you're
Did you
not.
just say that?
You're not.
You have no idea.
No. I'm not talking about the sport of weightlifting.
Oh,
I'm not talking.
Oh, I thought you meant.
No,
That's
I know
all
you.
I ever
like-
do.
No,
See,
I-
both
no.
you guys
Oh,
are
you
down.
mean the actual competition?
Right.
Oh, okay. Go
Vasily
ahead.
Alexia.
Yes,
The
yes,
greatest
yes.
power lifter.
I am not a fanatic
The
of
greatest
this.
weightlifter
Okay.
in the world.
Okay.
Broke 70 world records.
Okay.
He went to the academy in Russia.
Okay.
But after a while, he said, you know what, Skip? He said, I'm done with them.
Okay.
He said, I know me better than they know me.
Okay, well, that's this guy.
It's hard to
I got it.
argue.
Okay.
It's hard to argue with Bron the way he's been doing it. But
Okay,
we
would you
need
like
Doc.
to see him coach and play?
I want Doc coaching.
You want Doc?
Yep.
Doc would not love this.
Doc would love it. Doc, you want
Really?
to win? Doc, you can win one with the Clippers, but it ain't the same.
The pressure.
I know what Doc wants to do.
That's what comes along with LeBron James. That's why everybody can't stand up with LeBron James, because the pressure of winning a title.
Doc wants to win with the stepchild that shares the building, right?
he has
Never
coached
never
some
gonna
big
be
names
love.
before.
Never gonna be love. I mean, that's true love. Is that when you can love a child
Yeah.
that's not yours like it would your
Yeah.
own, but you the step doc. Is you never gonna get the love in LA if you went to the real family. The Lakers are the real family. You never gonna get the love in LA with the step
You know what?
kids.
I know a whole lot of longtime hardcore Clipper fans.
I do too.
They're out
Marcellus
there.
Wilde is the biggest one,
he's
but
one.
he's still a stepchild. The
Okay.
Lakers are the real deal.
Not right now.
Okay.
But I understand where you're coming from. It would have to be a partnership, though.
Doc,
Yes.
Doc does have, he's got a ring.
Yeah, he got a ring.
And he's worked with
We got a
plenty
bunch of
guys
rings.
before.
Oh, LeBron got a
Not
handful of
easy.
rings.
Well, he's got 3.
He got a handful of them.
3 to
When we
1.
get them 3 MVPs,
Half
them
a
3
handful.
finals
Three.
MVPs, we got
3.
10 rings.
Yeah.
Wow.
Three finals, 4 MVPs,
Yeah.
and 3 finals MVPs. 10 rings.
Really?
Hands are full.
Well, then
What
you're
are you gonna do?
halfway to being the GOAT.
10. Oh, we
Almost
there.
there.
Yeah, we're gonna
Almost
get
there.
2 more. We'll get 2 more.
Okay, so John Morant sure lived up to expectations, but is he guaranteed to be a star in the NBA? We'll discuss him next.
No mercy.
Well, if you didn't know who John Morant was, you do now. Ja led Murray State to a first-round upset over 5th-seeded Marquette yesterday. He finished with 17 points, 11 rebounds, 16 assists for the first triple-double in a tournament game since Draymond Green in 2012. Ja is projected by many to be the number 2 pick in the draft behind Zion Williamson. So, Shannon, how good will Ja be in the NBA?
I think he can be special. Skip, and I know when I say this, people look at the guy now, and because of all the injuries he's had, they're like, huh? But he reminds you of a young Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose was Westbrook before Westbrook with his leaping ability and the way this kid could get to the paint. But what I love most about him, Skip, now he took 25 shots, had 36 points in the Ohio Valley Conference final game. Yesterday took 9. Yesterday he said, you know what? Oh, y'all don't want me to get off, huh? Guess what? Take that. The way he orchestrated this ball game. Now, it's real easy, Skip, because his guys were making shots. The question I want to see is that will he still be as patient as he was yesterday if guys aren't making shots? Because we see a lot of times guys start up, they're making shots. Okay, I'm just going to give it up. All of a sudden, they start missing those shots. Then how do you react? Do you start just chucking the ball up? Skip, this kid's special. I've only seen bits and clips of him. I try to catch him. I stream and try to see some of his games. So I wanted just to see. Skip, this kid can play. I know it's Murray State, and, the only other guy I can think of probably Popeye Jones. I think Popeye Jones went to Murray State. Skip, this kid can...
I knew Popeye very well. He could play. He could rebound.
This kid can play. This kid can do it all. And the point guard, he's athletic. And that's where that position is heading now, Skip. The old, guy, okay, he can just facilitate. Nah, because there's too many Kyrie Irvings and the James Hardens and the Steph Currys and the Mike Conleys. All these guys, De'Aaron Fox and D'Angelo, he's athletic enough to play that position, and he needs to be athletic because not only you're going to have to slide your feet to try to slow these guys down because all these point guards in today's game, Skip, can go get you 50. It wasn't always like that. I love this kid. 34% shooter from the three-point line, 50% from the field, 80% from the free throw line. He was 11-11 yesterday, Skip. 2 for 2 from the three-point line. Let the game come to it. Did what he did to Marquette, blew the doors off him. Kid special. He checked all the boxes. I don't know what the scouts thought of him before, but he checked the boxes yesterday.
So I'm going to go with you on special, but for completely different reasons than you just detailed.
Okay.
I see no Derrick Rose. I see absolutely no Russell
No, I'm
Westbrook.
saying just his explosiveness, his
Explosiveness?
athleticism. Skip, you see that two-hand flush?
Okay, it was the only one in the game. He's highly capable.
Yeah.
But the reason he's special is because he doesn't think he needs to keep doing special things to
yeah.
convince you of that, right?
Yes.
He had one dunk in this game, and it was his coming out party. This is the biggest stage by far he's ever played on. So I thought we might see a dunk party, but he doesn't need to dunk.
No.
What happened on that play, on that dunk play? That was a backdoor cut off his big kid, he's a big kid, but he's got nice soft hands, the big kid does, that Cowart, however you say his name. And he does a little sweet backdoor bounce pass, and Ja just takes it right into that big, what's the 6'9" white kid's name? I can't think of his name. Just slams it on.
See,
just get out of my way.
That's what
boom.
That's why LeBron don't be going up when they get the ball like that. You want LeBron to get dunked on like that, don't you? That's what you want, so you come in here and keep showing it.
Here's the shock to me about Ja.
Okay.
We are going back to the future here. We got all throwback because we got a pass-first point guard, the opposite of Derrick or Russ, right?
Yes.
Complete pass first, who can score 25 a game. He averaged 25 a game as an afterthought. He will score when necessary,
Correct.
when needed, but he doesn't step on the floor to score. He steps on the floor to pass. And you know who he reminds me of? He's like a much more talented Rondo. He plays like Rondo does. It's conventional. It's slow. It's steady. It's methodical. Now he'll go if you give him it's off to they are the racers and they live up. But in general, he walks the ball up the floor like Rondo does. He plays deliberate half-court basketball. He makes conventional passes. There is no Trae Young here whatsoever.
I think he's a better prospect than Trae Young.
He's way better than
bigger.
Trae Young. Yeah, to me. Trae is all whipped cream, all bells and whistles.
He got made crazy handle, Skip.
Okay, he does. And Trae Young can make spectacular passes. This kid makes spectacular conventional passes where you say, wow, but he doesn't, there's no whipped cream on it. He doesn't need to go through the leg, behind the back.
Yeah, he's trying to razzle-dazzle.
No, there's no razzle, there's no dazzle. It just gets right where it's supposed to be, and every pass to those three-point shooters is right in the pocket.
Yep.
It's beautiful to watch. It is beautiful, old school, old-time basketball.
Yes.
His father was a high school teammate of Ray Allen's in South Carolina, small town South Carolina, who played some professional basketball overseas, and Josh says he was really hard on him, like Izzo kind of hard on him, where he was all over him. He learned to play the right. Zion learned to play the right way. It's all all the fundamentals are incredibly sound and respected by both of those South Carolina kids, right? They're both from South Carolina. But Ja is, he is so good with his left hand that there are times I start thinking, wait a second, is he left-handed? Because he plays sometimes like De'Aaron Fox. He looks like De'Aaron Fox. They're both 6'3". Slender built. But this kid's he's got some sinew to him. I mean, he's put together. He's got some strength to him.
But Skip, if you look at the way his bounce off the floor, if you see the highlights where he's cuffing the ball coming from the free throw line, like Russ does when he gets the breakaway.
No, he
you
can.
Look at that play right there, the dunk that he got on the big kid from Marquette. Is a very play that D. Rose did on a Phoenix Sun player. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that he's going to be any of those guys, but his athleticism, his explosiveness.
Okay, but speaking of explosive, so I kept saying, am I seeing some De'Aaron Fox? But he doesn't look as electric, quick as De'Aaron is.
No, Fox can.
Okay, but I got to tell you, his subtle quickness, his sort of basketball quickness, it's like what you talk about in football, where with the ball under your arm, you're fast.
Right.
Well, somehow with the ball in his hand, he has quickness that is subtle.
Right.
It's understated, but it's not like anybody can stop him from getting into the lane, right?
Yeah. I know everybody wanted to see because you hear all the hype. And a lot of times, Skip, when you hear a hype and you don't get the opportunity to see the player, you're like, what was all the hype for? He lived up to the billing. He's everything you thought he would be. And I was like, okay, I thought he'd have a routine game. I thought he'd get his 20-plus points and his 10 rebounds. But this was even more impressive than his 2010 would have been because not only did he do that's a lot of assists in a college basketball game. And then he goes and gets you 11 rebounds. Now, first guard, I mean, I can't remember the last guard, D-Wade, 03.
Yep.
Let that sink in. D-Wade was the last guard. Draymond did it in 2012.
Nope, I got it. And that poor kid from Marquette, Marcus Howard, who's their little shooter, he had such a hard time because he went down and made his first shot. And what happened? Ja went right back down and made his first shot. And from there on, he said, no, this is my house now, right? And Ja is, what I love the most about him is he plays with confidence, but not arrogance. I don't feel any. Do you get any me from him?
No.
I don't get any me.
No.
I mean, the only me I get is from the Twitter handle. I got game 12. So I'm checking out his Twitter page last night, and guess what? He follows me. So he's going to be special. He's special. He's special.
So
you better
it's
get
over.
You should have led with
When I
that.
said that, I said that he's got game.
Ja, you better follow your boy because I got the good takes.
Really?
I need to look in the
On
break
Twitter?
if he's following you.
Yeah, I don't know how to do
That's
that.
going to be, I'll check for you.
Okay.
That's really important. That could be a big issue.
Yeah.
I started DM him like,
For
something.
what? You ain't got
Tell
nothing
him
to say. I
he's got
thgot you don't
game.
want to talk to people. You
I
above
don't.
him. He don't want to talk.
I
Remember?
didn't. But I just.
Nah, don't talk to him.
I
talk to him.
I just love how he plays, and I just want him to stay humble and be himself and just go forward.
The athletes DM me.
Yeah. They do?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why.
You caught it though. D-Wade, me and D-Wade cool.
Oh,
now.
are you going back and forth?
Yep.
Okay.
you know.
Well, that's
Oh,
fine.
bro, me and old Goat,
Yeah.
old Goat James.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they know you'll defend them.
Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that. Don't do that.
That's
don't
why
do
they
that.
DM
No,
you.
ain't no defending.
They need an advocate on this show,
Right?
right?
Protection?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
So, you know what? This Racer team, Murray State, I thought Murray State was actually playing, I thought they played last year in the national semifinal of the football championship, right? Because it was Kyler
Yeah.
Murray State, right? Kyler Murray
I
State.
was like,
no,
where
no,
are we
Skip.
going
That's what,
here?
that's
Don't
what
do that.
Where are
Kyler
we
Murray
going
State.
here?
But they are the Racers,
Yeah.
and this basketball Racers team, you know what? When I sat back, remember, they were under, I think they were 6-point underdogs going into the game yesterday. They wiped them out. That was a 20-point game much of the
wasn't
way.
even- yeah.
It wasn't even,
You're right.
a contest. Are we overlooking them? Are they going to
Possibly.
go on a Cinderella run here? Because they look good to me.
Well, I mean, who's the next opponent? You think they, maybe
Florida State?
Yeah.
Florida State's a big
that's
team.
the thing, yeah.
Well, Florida
I mean,
State.
maybe they can get to the Sweet 16.
Hartford, okay.
I think Sweet 16 would be a tremendous success for Murray State.
Look, the pressure was on for Jaw, and
Gonzaga.
he
I think they'd get Gonzaga.
sold himself. Oh, yeah, they would.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right?
it would be Gonzaga. Yep, would be next.
Could
I don't
they
know.
shock Gonzaga? Maybe.
They're getting big. Gonzaga's a big team. Florida
Yeah.
State's an even bigger
They're
team.
bigger. No, I agree. It's going to
So-
be fun to watch.
Before we go to break, Ja does not follow you, Shannon. We just had some research.
Wonder why
check
follows
Ja.
stat. So, just so you know, Shannon,
Ja, bruh.
before you say more.
This kid, he has basketball maturity. He follows the correct one.
Okay.
That's the most mature college game I've ever seen.
Well, that's all right. Bron followed me, so we good.
That's how we're gonna
Bron,
end this
D
one.
Wade.
That's how we're gonna end this one. Hopefully,
Does Braun follow you? Are you sure?
I'm 1,000% sure.
Really? Does he
Yeah.
DM?
Don't worry about all that.
okay.
Okay,
No,
something I'm also going to have to check on in the break. We are, though, going to switch gears to the NFL. Colin Kaepernick, he's not getting as much money as we thought. So we're going to discuss everything that we know, all the latest.
No mercy.
The Wall Street Journal reports Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reed will receive less than $10 million for the settlement of their collusion case against the NFL. Kaepernick filed the grievance in 2017, alleging teams colluded against signing him. The two sides settled last month, and people threw out a possible $50 million figure. So, Shannon, are you surprised by this number?
No, I'm surprised that he won anything. No one thought Colin Kaepernick had a chance to win this case. I saw some of the greatest lawyers that specialize in collusion cases says unless he has a smoking gun, unless he has documentation, there's no way he can win. So the mere fact that he got anything out of this deal, Skip, is more than most people thought that he would. Now it's being framed when no one thought he could get anything, that he lost, that he got $10 million or less. How? Again,
Framed by whom?
I mean, the Wall Street. That's the only reason they put this out, Skip, because it was reported. Some people say 50 million, some people say 80 million. Now less than 10 million. It comes across like Colin lost. How do you lose when people say you don't have a chance to begin with? 10 million is more than he started with. Whether it's 10 million, whether it's $5, it's more than what the USFL got when they said the NFL colluded to keep them out of it, Skip. Do you know how hard collusion is to prove, Skip? Unless you got documentation.
Yep.
Unless you can prove Jerry Jones called Bob Kraft, who called the Mariners and said, we are not signing Colin Kaepernick.
Unless there was a memo.
Exactly. Unless you got someone that was privy to those conversations
Yep.
that can go on record and says, this is what was said. He had none of that. And he won $10 million. Now it's being framed that he lost. Skip, this was really never about the money anyway. Colin Kaepernick took a stand because of the violence, what he saw going on against unarmed black men and women in America.
Okay.
African American, black men and women.
No
in
doubt.
That's what this was about.
Sure.
So now it's like, the money. Okay, even if he got $10 million, when someone asks, why did NFL settle for Colin Kaepernick for $10 million? What was this about? He filed a grievance. Okay, what was the grievance about? Well, he took a knee during the national anthem. Why would he take a knee during the national anthem? So it goes back to the original point of why Colin Kaepernick took the knee. That's what the discussion was, to bring attention to the unarmed killing of black men in America at the hands of the police in America.
Okay.
So Colin Kaepernick won. He won.
Definitely on that count, yes.
100 million, 5 million, 10 million. That wasn't the issue. He won a case when no one thought he could.
Okay.
Skip, even if the NFL didn't, because a lot of times when you settle, you don't admit fault. You don't admit guilt. But guilty conscience is good enough.
I'm going to ask this question one more time.
Yes.
Was there collusion?
Oh, I believe they were.
I think 90% of the known world believe. I believe my dog Hazel believes there was collusion.
Right.
That's how much collusion there was.
When you see some of the quarterbacks that's been signed since Cap,
it's outrageously obvious they colluded in their own quiet, subtle ways. They colluded. Did Colin Kaepernick deserve to be paid some money for the salary that he lost over a 3-year period?
Right.
Yes, he did.
Right.
So I'm still torn about this because I don't know where the first salvos of this came. Where did the first reports? Was it just rampant speculation of? You said 80. I heard 50.
Yeah.
Was there an 80 report?
Yeah.
$80 million.
$80 million.
Who started that? Where did it come from? I don't know, because in this crazy media age, this internet age we live in, wildfire just breaks out across the internet, and then it just takes on a life of its own, up to $80 million.
because you know why, Skip? It's more important to be first than to be right. So I throw out a number,
Okay.
I put it out first. Whether or not you're right, we'll discuss that at a later date and time.
So should I take the less than $10 million to my quote-unquote bank?
No.
Do you trust it?
Unless Colin Kaepernick tell me what it is,
Yeah.
I ain't believing nobody.
Okay.
Then I need the NFL to see what they said.
I agree. So when I heard $50 million, I thought, well, okay, he deserves that money.
Right.
Now this is he and Eric Reed together,
Right.
and now I don't know how they split less than $10 million, because Eric deserved his piece of that, right?
And then if you pay attorney fees, who gets 33% of that?
I don't know, but I thought Garagos was probably doing it sort of pro bono, just for the publicity, because
No.
there was a lot of publicity.
Skip, ain't nothing free.
Well,
but
sometimes,
God's salvation.
well, your reputation can grow
and
from
tell
it.
evangelists charge for salvation. So ain't nothing free.
Okay, so they owe somebody something for attorney's fees.
Right.
Okay, so what does that mean? Colin's takeaway from this? Would it be $5 million, $6 million? I don't know. Eric Reed just got a big, pretty good
Right.
contract from Carolina.
Right.
And he deserves it. He's a good football player.
If Cap would have said, you know what, I will settle for what I thought I would have made the past 3 years in salary. So if you just say, for the sake of argument, I wasn't going to make the $16 million that I lost out on, say I make $5 to $7 million times 3. $15 million, you pay the attorney's fees, I'll leave you guys alone. But you know what you did, okay? Long as you know that you know, and I know that you know you did it, but this is some kind of, I guess, restitution.
Okay. I still regret one issue, and that is I wanted to see Colin and Garagos forge this through and at least take their quote-unquote pound of flesh publicly by forcing Goodell and prominent owners to testify. I wanted to get to that stage. And it's easy for me to say because I didn't have to go through it.
Right.
And it's protracted, it's dragged out. It
Right.
goes, they're as lawyered up as any institution in the history of this country is the National Football League.
Correct.
So it's hard to fight City Hall. That's
Right.
City Hall effectively.
Right.
So again, can they drag this on into oblivion? Maybe so. Maybe Garagos finally said, look, we're going to be beating our head against this wall for another 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Do you really want this?
Yeah.
Or do you want to just start fresh and go forward, you know?
This is what we know about the NFL, Skip. If they got a case to win, you go into court. Ask Tom Brady.
Ask him.
Ask Zeke Elliott. Ask the USFL. Ask Al Davis, the former of the Raiders.
Yep.
If the NFL think they can win a case, you either settle with them or they're taking your butt to court.
Okay.
If they thought they could win this case, there's no way they wouldn't have gave Colin Kaepernick a dime.
Yep.
We know that.
That's interesting.
For a company, a corporation that brings in about $15 billion a year, they're not giving you a dime because they don't want the effect that it's going to cause, the impact. Because guess what? Once you settle with one, Skip, guess what that means? Everybody going to start coming, well, hey, I need my
Yep.
hands looking like baskets. Everybody got a hand out now because wanting something. No, sir.
Well, at least if this is to be believed, it wasn't 50 or 80 million, because that would start to smack to me of sort of go away money or
Right.
hush money or leave us alone money, where we just bought you off. We bought your ability to speak out. You know, we shut you up.
I believe this is that. Because now, Skip, at least, look, I don't feel as bad that I know I played a role in him not getting a job.
Yeah.
At least I gave a little something. It's kind of like if they fire you from the job and they give you severance. Well, we did give you a little something to soften your blow. I got my job.
Still a bad feeling.
Exactly. No. How about this here? Let me have an opportunity to play in the NFL, and I can make that money that you're supposed to be giving me out of your guilty conscience. That's what I want. I don't want your handout.
So do we believe that Colin Kaepernick is going to go onward and upward from here with no more pro football in his future?
Oh, I thought that after the first year.
I would agree.
After the first year, I was like, he's not playing anymore. After all those guys Skip, we know the guys that they've signed since Colin Kaepernick has last taken a snap.
We do.
And Cap is better than 3/4, if not all of them. Mm-hmm. And they're bringing guys out of retirement. Guys that hadn't thrown the ball since 2011 started 3 games for Washington. Miami coach Jay Cutler out of retirement. And we saw him on the beach. We saw him was looking like Skip before he came back.
Yep.
I'm like, what? And they gave him $10, $13 million for that.
Yep,
I know.
you're right.
That's a lot of money.
I'm looking at this current crop after Kyler Murray of draftees at quarterback, and I'm like, I don't know.
Colt
Worry you a
McCoy.
little?
Washington is going to camp. Colt McCoy, Mark Sanchez. Mm-hmm. Really?
You are tough on that guy.
Really, Skip?
Well, Case Keenum.
Really?
Okay.
Colin Kaepernick went farther than Case Keenum.
He did.
He went to 2 NFC and went to the Super Bowl. Mark Sanchez, I'll tell you what, type in Mark Sanchez into Google and see what comes up. I bet you ain't no championship winning quarterback. I bet you ain't no AFC playing quarterback coming up. Type in Mark Sanchez and let's see what comes up. Ain't none of my business, but it happened on a Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I was going to say, why you keep reminding everyone?
It happened on Thanksgiving. I don't know what happened. I mean, normally, people sit around their table, eat Thanksgiving dinner, then you wait a little bit, have leftovers, or you watch the Macy's Day Parade.
No, you watch the Dallas Cowboys.
No, they didn't watch them. Watch the Blues.
We'll see.
You watch.
I be up there watching the parade, be watching me. Because, I be with a Snoop product. Them balloons. I be hiding the balloons.
That's your Thanksgiving?
Yeah, man, please.
What kind of holidays do you have around?
Yeah, I be hiding the balloons.
You?
Yeah. Old Snoopy be coming out Fifth Avenue looking up at me.
Thanksgiving?
Like, how you
Being
get
so honest today.
How you get so high?
We're going to have to call off our Friday show
Yeah, I was
next
going to
year.
say
What
no
happened?
more.
I don't know. We're
Because
going
of
to
you
have
on
to cancel.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be right, Skip.
You'll be right
Yeah,
by then.
I'll be done come down by then.
A little
Let's
red-eyed,
hope
but
so.
you'll be okay.
Gosh, something special going on today, Shannon. I think we should be worried.
I think he,
Yeah.
before the show, I
Something
think,
is happening
Skip.
on this side of the table.
We next door to each other.
Yeah.
Do I need to start putting wet towels up under my door?
Yes, I
I
can
need to
smell
come
it.
check on you guys at 5 a.m. Okay, we're going back to the NBA next. Why is Kobe calling out a bunch of NBA superstars? We will tell you everything he said next, and Matt Barnes is here to help us.
No mercy.
NBA stars like LeBron and Kawhi Leonard have been missing games this season for what's being called load management. Well, the act of resting doesn't sit well with Kobe Bryant, who was asked if he would ever have done that. This is what he said. The only time I took a game off is when I couldn't walk. The thing about taking games off is your games, your seasons in your career go by really, really quickly. So you want to make sure you don't miss any of those moments. The other part about that is there are kids in the crowd and families in the crowd. This will be the only time they get a chance to see you. They save up their hard-earned money to watch you perform. So you can walk and perform and get there and perform. Some strong words from Kobe. We are joined by FS1 NBA analyst Matt Barnes. It's great to have you this morning on this one, especially because you've been a teammate of Kobe's, and you've now seen all these superstars taking this time resting. Whose side are you on, Matt?
I see both sides. I see both sides completely fair, I think. I completely understand where Kobe's coming from. There was no such thing as load management. I think load management is like a new term that just came out a year or two ago. So sports was, I know the only time I sat was when I was suspended. Only time, like you said, the only time he didn't play was when he couldn't walk. So I understand and respect where he's coming from. When I wanted to be out there every single game, but I think along with the game changing, all aspects of the game change. And this load management is something that's very new, and it is what it is. I definitely respect guys wanting to be more healthy or 100% healthy before they finally go out, or close to 100% healthy, such as Kawhi. And I'm hearing that Kyrie Irving is going to take a little, get some load management down the stretch. So, like I said, whether we agree with it or not, it's just the new NBA, and we kind of have to understand it and go with it.
Times changes. Right. You know what? Had Kobe taken some of those back-to-backs or some of those 3 games in 4 nights,
could argue.
maybe down the stretch, we wouldn't have seen what we saw from Kobe. And so I get it. You know, new fans in the crowd, maybe for the first time. But Skip, I went to the doctor the other day, and he wasn't there. But they called me. They said, now, he's not going to be in on the day you're supposed to come. Now, you can still come and see the other guy, or you can wait for him to return. That's just the way it is, Skip Bayless. I'm sorry.
What was he doing? Playing golf?
I don't know what he was doing, but I wanted.
Did you go in?
No, I waited him out. I waited him out.
Did you?
Then you want to see LeBron James? And I get it, Skip. I really do. I understand. And but now, Michael Jordan played and Magic played unless he was hurt and Bird played. But this is not the era. This is not the time of that, Skip. In football, there was a different time where we tried to knock each other completely out of the game. Those days are over. So the players evolve, and the fans' thinking and the evaluation of how these players and what they're doing needs to change. See, you want to have the same ideology and the same philosophy in the 2019 as you had in 1980 or 1990. It's totally, totally different now. These guys, no matter how great they are, they're going to take about 5 to 10 games a year off moving forward. So you just got
5 to 10?
5 to 10.
20 to 30.
Well,
it's the new way, man.
Well, how about this? Might be 15. I'm going to split the difference with you. Instead of 30, I go 15. But these guys are going to take time off. I remember 2 years ago, I was going to see LeBron play. I thought I was going to see LeBron play. Well, guess what? I get all the way there.
Okay.
See, you got victimized by your guy.
I see him walking down the sideline in the street clothes. I say, unless he got his uniform up under there, LeBron ain't playing tonight.
Well, you remember just about a handful of years ago, it used to be you hang your hat on playing a full 82 games.
Right.
And people would be like, oh, he played a full 82 games, and it was the norm.
Right.
It's like you said, it's something that you'll rarely see from here on out.
Popovich started it.
You know what? He did. I give you that.
They were mad.
He sent Tim Duncan. Think about it, Skip. You remember he got fined $250,000 for sending Tim Duncan, Manu, and Tony Parker. He didn't like, y'all stay on the sideline, y'all not playing. Y'all go back.
On Southwest Airlines.
Yes.
Send them back.
Southwest? I was like, whoa, Pop. I get you now. You the coach. I ain't flying no Southwest.
Well, they flew Southwest.
How Tim Duncan fly Southwest?
How did he fold up that body in the Southwest seat?
The exit row.
The exit row.
Yeah. Well, you
better.
must know. It's hard.
Yeah, that's fine.
Jeez.
Nah, we need to go private.
Yeah.
Look, this just might come off as grumpy old man talk, but what Kobe said about what a privilege it is to play in that league and how it goes by like that, you can attest.
Very true.
It's over all of a sudden.
It is.
You probably look back and say,
like, man.
God, where'd it go?
15
Right?
years like that.
15 years you played basketball
does.
in the greatest league in the world, and it's over,
Right.
and you have it all to hark back on, to feel good about, but it ended because it's going to end.
Goes quick.
It's going to go quick for Kyrie Irving. He's going to wake up one day and say, where did it go?
Looking like Uncle Drew.
He's going to look like Uncle Drew. That's good. The real Uncle Drew. Well, you know what? Unfortunately, that's what's going to happen. That's just life.
It goes fast.
Okay?
I remember Dennis Smith, Skip, we came in one day, I was running, we were working out. He said, man, you better enjoy this. He
You're
said,
talking
you
about the football Dennis Smith,
the football
as opposed
Dennis.
to the junior.
Yeah. Skip, he was like, he said, you're going to wake up one morning and you're going to be in year 10, and the next day, you're going to be home.
Okay.
And that's what happened. I played 14 years, and it was over.
Okay. So, obviously, I'm a big Michael Jordan fan, but do you realize he played 82 games, all 82, 9 times, and he played 80 plus. That means you just missed a game or two, 11 times. He just played basketball. That's just what you do. He was born to play this game, and he's like, I'm just going to play. Was he blessed? Was he lucky that he didn't have, after the one big injury he had?
Broke his foot in the second year.
Yeah, and he missed about the whole year.
He only
right?
played 50.
Yeah.
What did he play, like 15 games?
Not much.
Because I know he played 15 and when he came
after
back.
that-
Remember, he took them 2 years off. Now, we ain't going to talk about that, man. You know what I'm saying? So how many games is that
He
in 2
didn't
years?
take him off. He was forced to.
Now, I
take
don't
him
want
off.
to. How many games is that? So let's see. 82, and plus he didn't play 67.
Okay,
so
but
82
when
and
he was
67.
eligible to play, he played all the way home. And he played all the way home at age 39 in Washington. He played all 82 that last year.
He was hoping somebody to come see him play.
Okay.
Did you see the way he was looking? Kobe dropped 55 on him.
Well, he averaged 20 and 6, so that
20, really?
Okay.
LeBron probably averaged 28 and 6.
he might. but he ain't no MJ.
Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that.
Come on.
You see,
seriously?
We got to see. The thing
You
is, because
gotta stop.
MJ
You gotta
played 82
stop.
games, everybody else, man, needs to play 82 games.
It's always going to be the comparison with those three. If Kobe did it, LeBron should do it. If Mike did it, Kobe should do it.
Kobe did it
vice
4
versa,
times.
right?
So he played 80 plus 60.
But, the pace of the game has changed. We're up and down like
I
this a
got
lot
it.
more. But
That's
I just
fair.
think, too, even in practice, we were talking about this in my group chat yesterday with UCLA. It's just, trainers almost dictate work management. They have us hooked up to everything in practice.
Yes.
So they can tell our load in practice and try to prevent upcoming injuries, even though, sprained ankle, something like that is unpredictable. But they hook us up to these monitors and how our body's wired that they can tell, like, okay, you're approaching a fatigue point where, you need to probably sit out of practice, sit out of game. So it's there's so much money around all these players now and around the game so much that, they're really using the analytics and everything they possibly can to try to preserve life, which is good. You know what I mean? For so often guys are, running ragged. Unfortunately, Kobe was ran ragged, and tore his Achilles towards the end of his career. Unfortunately, so it's
name it.
It's different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I said, we before my time, we didn't miss games. Like I said, load management is a new word.
And what they tell you, when you getting tired, come on, son, you got to push through that. Everybody getting tired.
Right.
Push through the fatigue. And now they say the moment you start getting to that little red line, okay, so shut it down, son.
So was that all prehistoric thinking, antiquated thinking, Cro-Magnon thinking? Yeah, I guess so. Is this enlightened thinking?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, this brings me to that guy number 2 up in Toronto.
No, Kawhi.
He is shattering the mold now because he's just saying, I'm going to play when I feel like playing. He is getting away with it because he's that good.
Yes,
he's that good.
He want to make sure he's healthy. Yeah. He got that big payday. He's not going to pull an Isaiah because, they told Isaiah it was just a little hip bruise. And now Isaiah ain't going to ever see $100 million.
Don't compare Isaiah to number 2.
Yeah, well, see, they told Isaiah one thing, and Isaiah had something different. Right. Kawhi said, y'all might be telling me something, I got something different. But don't worry about this here. I went and got my own doctor.
Yeah. Number 2 had a thigh bruise, and he's still plagued by it. I don't know.
Yeah.
You had a thigh bruise like every Sunday.
But that's different. That was different.
But now he's got a thigh bruise, but he, if he doesn't feel like it, he always takes the back-to-back off.
I promise you, if I had that guaranteed money like they got, I'd have took me a game too. But I ain't got it.
Again, he is getting away with it. Nobody's saying no to him, in part because they want him to stay in Toronto, right? So whatever you want,
do what you want.
He has the control
okay?
in that sense.
You got all the leverage.
But you know what? I noticed, don't nobody say anything about baseball players, and they take all these games off, and they get that Mike Trout money. Mike Trout don't play 162
No,
games.
they don't. Mike has it.
Yeah, but don't worry, Mookie Betts coming.
Okay.
But you see Machado got, they get
Oh, I know.
But these guys don't play 162.
No,
it used to be a thing to play 162.
Right.
Okay. Well, Cal Ripken just played for years.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
But ain't nobody being Cal. No.
Okay.
Nobody's ever breaking that record.
Okay. Well, now pitchers pitch every maybe 5th day, but
Right.
maybe not.
They used to
right?
pitch every 3-4 days.
I know.
It's just a new time. Like I said, I think the game overall has evolved, but everything having to do with the game has evolved as well. And like I said, it's about preservation now, which, as an athlete, someone who's a current athlete making as much money, you have to kind of understand where they're going, even though we may not like
So
it.
the game evolved. That means the thinking needs to evolve along with it, curmudgeon, which is you.
Someday, number 2 will wake up 20 years from now and say, I should have played.
And you know what he gonna wake up on? A big old pile, about $200 million in cash. He gonna wake up on that like, woo!
Sleeping on it?
Yeah.
Sleeps on it?
Just like, whoo,
Okay.
doing snow angels.
Okay.
Snow Angels
Yeah.
up in Toronto. I don't know if it's still.
But he gonna be healthy. See,
Will he be happy?
Kobe could have. Just think about it. Kobe could have got another. Look at Dirk. Look at Dirk. Dirk tried to play about 25 years out there hopping on one leg.
Kobe
might be
wouldn't
chasing
have went out like that, though.
No, he
Kobe
would
wouldn't have
not.
sat on the bench in a uniform and been happy with it at all.
No,
Not even close.
but he could have. Them last 3 years, Kobe was a shell, man.
He
The
still-
body.
But he still went out with 60.
He
Say what you
was
want.
60.
He went out with 60.
Man, the man
He
shot
went
50 times. Let me ask you a question. If you
Yeah.
shot 50 times in a game, how many points could you
I
get?
don't think my arms would be able to lift, but still went out with 60.
If James Harden shot the ball 50 times, how many points you think
He
he get?
does shoot the ball 50
No, he
times.
shoot 38.
Oh, okay, see.
A little different.
But it
All
was a
right.
special moment. I watched it. I wanted to get it. Kobe was my guy.
Right.
That was a special moment.
Or was your guy?
Yeah, Kobe was my guy.
Until,
he's
until
about to-
23.
No.
How many guys do you have over there?
I have. Let's see. I really, in all honesty, in the last 20 years, I really just had two guys, Kobe and Bryant.
I thought you said Larry Bird was your guy.
But that was Larry Bird been retired. Yeah, Larry was my favorite.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Especially because he used to do, you know what he used to do? Bust you know who up, man. Man, that was before your time. But he used to put that thing on in him. Wop, wop, wop.
He did WAP.
Thank you for
Sweet.
clarifying, Shannon. Thank you.
No mercy.
Michigan State won yesterday, but everyone today is talking about Tom Izzo. In the second half, an irate Izzo ran up to freshman Aaron Henry during a timeout and tapped him in the midsection. Then, in the huddle, he lunged at Henry and had to be held back. The problem appeared to be Henry not running back on defense. And after the game, Izzo explained himself. Let's hear it.
You think there was one thing that would make me that angry? You don't know me very well. There was a bunch of things, and hey, he's playing a lot of minutes too. He's tired too. But when you're a freshman now at this time of year, you don't make mental mistakes on things that when we're telling a guy which way he goes or not running back or, there were some things Aaron didn't do a very good job of. And yet, you know what? Like happened, I did get after him, and he did respond, and he did make a couple big buckets, and he did make some big free throws. But that's not good enough. This is one and done time, The my bads are out the window. If they're my bads because that team played better or that guy played better, if it's my bad because I decided to jog back instead of sprint back, then it is your bad, and you're going to hear about it. I get a kick out of you guys. Get after somebody because you're trying to hold them accountable. I don't know what kind of business you're in, but I'll tell you what, if I was the head of a newspaper and you didn't do your job, you'd be held accountable. That's the way it is.
All right, Rob Parker is joining us this morning, and it's fitting because you have experience covering Izzo. You did it for many years. So when you saw this happening, when you just heard his defense of his actions, was he out of line?
Absolutely 100%. He is out of line. That is not coaching Skip Bayless. That's bullying Shannon Sharpe. That's making a national embarrassment of a young kid who, for whatever reason, if you want to pull him out of the game because he's not playing right, I get that. You bring him to the sideline, you sit him down, you explain what he's not doing and why he won't see the court. What Tom Izzo did crossed the line, not just yelling at the kid on the court, but go look at the videotape. A clenched fist. He makes it almost physical, swiping at the kid. He lunges at the kid again a second time. That's all not acceptable. And I get it. Today, all Twitter and all the former players, these kids are soft and blah, 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 and this is coaching. No, it's not. Show me the videotape of Coach K and Dean Smith and John Wooden. Show me the videotape of this. And I guarantee you, Tom Izzo would not want this included on his videotape as being a Hall of Fame coach if you included it on his highlights. He would, because it's not coaching.
Right.
This is an overreaction where he was mad and he took it out on the kid. And I get it. Aaron Henry is going to support Tom Izzo. You know why? All of these guys do it. Tom Izzo came into his living room. Tom Izzo delivered a scholarship for him to play. He's always going to be beholden to Tom Izzo, even when Tom Izzo's wrong. All the players do it. Can I go to Bobby Knight? Everybody was an enabler to Bobby Knight. They told Bobby Knight all along, no, that's coach. He came to practice, Shannon, with a whip and popped a whip at black kids. An old white guy popping a whip at practice. And people were like, what's the big deal? It's coach, right? That's Coach Knight. Until the end, until when? When did they turn on Bobby Knight? When he got physical. He started choking people out. And if you want to say that this is just soft kids and look, all the other former Tom Izzo players have come to his defense and you guys don't know, you never played basketball, you know, and all the other stuff. I get it. I understand coaching. This is not coaching. And go back to Latrell Sprewell and P.J. Carlissimo. I was in New York at Newsday covering, P.J. coached at Seton Hall.
Yep.
And I had players call after that whole incident. And you know what they said to me? They said, I'm shocked it took this long for somebody to do that to him. Because if you were in the practices and you saw how P.J. treated people behind the scenes, you wouldn't be surprised. And if this is Izzo in public, on national stage with all these cameras, can you imagine what practice is like? So go ahead. Everybody can pile on and say, the media is soft, we're overreacting, all the other former players are all for Izzo, and you guys don't know what's going on. I see bullying when I know bullying when I see it. And that's what that was. That was not coaching.
Do you think that Coach Izzo gets some pass from some in the media because they like him?
Absolutely. And you know what, Skip? I'm glad you said that. Izzo's always been a favorite for a lot of guys. Access, right? Until the tables were turned. And go back and look at when he was pressed about whether or not he knew about alleged rapes and whatnot. He turned into a different guy. He repelled the media. He was angry. We saw a different Tom Izzo.
I had a hard time watching this yesterday, and I know Izzo a little bit off camera. You know him a lot off camera. He can be fun to be around. He can be charming, but that was a dark side that came out. That's a side that Michigan State has allowed to manifest itself and grow in hugely public forums. And that school has had enough scandal to start with. We know about all that's really serious. But this is such a bad look for the university and for a coach who has some credentials. You and I have gone back and forth. He got to 7 Final Fours, got to 2 championship games. He won one with Mateen Cleaves and Mo Pete.
And that was 2000.
2000.
20 years ago.
The last 3 years, they have flamed out early. So he was under a lot of pressure yesterday against Bradley, right? Where I think the pressure is on him even more than on his kids. And he's saying, don't do this to me, to a freshman. But are they going to back him up? And I feel like, just in fairness, I need to read this because our Chris Carter said this on First Things First, and he said he had talked to Coach Izzo last night. He's got an off-camera relationship, obviously, with Coach Izzo that goes way back. And Aaron Henry retweeted what Chris said on First Things First and put a little bullseye emoji like you hit it right on the head. And what Chris Carter said was, Coach Izzo made a promise to that kid and his parents. When he sat in their living room, he told them, I'm going to be on your son and grow him from a boy into a young man. That's what Aaron Henry got last night. This coaching will always be effective, said Chris Carter on First Things First, and the kid retweeted it with a bullseye, so he validated, he reinforced. To your point, I don't know what, I guess he could rebel, but most of the kids just say, that's what I signed up for.
He can't rebel because, you know what? Where would he go from here? You know what I mean? You're painted into a corner.
Yeah.
Tom Izzo's a Hall of Fame coach who's won a championship, and here's a freshman kid who's going to stand up and say what? His parents are in a tough spot. What are they going to say? All right? But they can't say anything. He has a scholarship. You want your kid not to play. Maybe he has dreams to go to the next level. So you just have to accept it.
I agree. I agree with what both of you said. If I'm not mistaken, it wasn't the accident, it wasn't the choking of Neil Reed that cost Bobby Knight his job. It was when a student walked up to him on campus and said Knight. And he grabbed the student.
Yes.
That cost him his job. So you can't get physical with it. But I thought college athletes
that cost him his Indiana job.
Right,
yeah,
that is.
But I thought athletes were student athletes. So you can't grab a student, but you can grab an athlete. Now come on now. Oh, you see here, I get it.
He grabbed the student because he called him Knight.
Right.
With disrespect.
Yeah,
Right.
not Coach Knight or Mr. Knight.
Yeah.
And that was the undoing.
He said, hey, Knight.
Yeah, that was his undoing.
Yeah.
Not the choking of Neil Reed.
That's true.
Skip, look, I get it. The guy made a mental mistake, but these things happen. The greatest basketball player in Michigan State history had one of the ultimate mental mistakes in an NBA Finals game. Magic Johnson dribbled the clock out without getting a shot up. It happens. And that's what happens. The guy has a mental lapse, and sometimes you freeze.
He jogged back on defense like he wasn't given 100% effort.
Let me tell you something, Coach Izzo. There's no such thing as a guy gives you 100% on every single play. I don't care if it's professional, high school, junior. No. You don't go 100 miles an hour every single play. So stop this notion, Mr. Coach Izzo, because you got people thinking like, oh, this kid was dogging it. Well, if he dogged it, why'd you recruit him? If you dogged it, why you got him in the game?
Take him out the game.
Take him out the game. All you had to do. Because my thing is, Rob, I say, even if I want to give you that first one where you walked up to him in a confrontational manner, even if I give you that one, I thought once you got to the side and you're in the huddle, it was all gone away. you're coaching, and now the kids got to restrain the coach.
Cassius Winston, that was, to me, that's the one.
The point guard.
The point guard for Michigan State. When he feels compelled, normally you notice, Shannon, if a coach is chewing out a player and he deserves it, players accept it. You sit there and you just take your medicine.
Normally it's the players holding the players back.
Exactly.
So now the players need to be the adult in the room because the adult in the room is acting like a child.
And no assistant coach moved. They didn't do anything.
Yeah,
Cassius Winston.
The thing is that I get it. Because for the longest time, this was acceptable behavior in the coaching circle, But Skip, times have evolved. And the way you talk to players and the way you coach players is different in 2019 than it was in 1965, 1980, even in the 1990s. You can't do these things, some of the things that these coaches do. So come on, Coach Izzo. My thing is, if you got to get to this point, you're doing a terrible job of conveying your message because they're not getting it. They're not receiving it.
And you know what, Skip? You made a good point, and I believe this. Izzo knows deep down that without that second championship, he doesn't get validated. He's in the Hall of Fame, but he won one 20 years ago when Mateen and Mo Pete couldn't leave after their junior year, so they stayed a senior year, and they were bigger and stronger, and they won that championship. He said it himself. He needs to win another one, and I think you're right. He saw himself in a tight game and said oh, my God, is this going to be another flame out early on in the tournament?
Lost it.
Right? And lost it.
But see, Coach Knight was able to stay so long because he had 3 titles.
He did.
So they were willing to accept because the money, the revenue that he's generating, and the cachet, even though he only has one, he has one. It's hard for me to believe. What was that guy at Rutgers? He had none. They got him up out of there. As soon as he put his hand on the player, what they do to him, Skip? They ain't wait.
They had the videotape.
They didn't wait at all. They had the videotape of Bobby Knight to choke rest his old Neil Reed, and he stayed on because he had those 3 titles.
No doubt.
This guy in practice with no titles, get up out of here. And this is what Coach Izzo, when you get titles, whether you're a player or a coach, it gives you latitude to do a lot of things you wouldn't be able to do if you didn't have it.
But ultimate power is dangerous, and when you allow a guy to be able to do whatever and not like step in and say, you've crossed the line, and nothing will happen. Michigan State, they're all on the defensive. They're all piling up. They probably got tweets out, hey, send something out for coaches. Oh, do you know what I mean? Like, they feel compelled to do it because they know he's in hot water.
Ask the chancellor. If that was your kid, how would you feel if that was your kid? Ask the dean. Ask the chancellor. Ask the president. If that was your kid that he did that to, how would you feel? You'd be like, oh, yeah, he just coaching him up.
It's not a good look. And regardless, it's going to be a distraction for this team moving forward. So that's on him.
They're gonna get asked about it again.
This isn't just the beginning. And these discussions are important to have, I think, about this. But it's not something that we are going to stop talking about.
You don't see that very
anytime
often.
soon. No, you really don't. Rob, good to have you with us today. Skip, this is an important question for you, actually. Why are the Eagles trying to ruin one of the NFL's best traditions? The Eagles, Shannon. I don't know. What are you going to say about this? We will explain everything that's going on.
Cowboys don't own Thanksgiving, Skip.
We own the division.
No mercy.
Back to the NFL. So we are all used to seeing the Cowboys and Lions play at home on Thanksgiving, but that doesn't sit well with every team. The Eagles submitted a proposal to the league that suggested both Dallas and Detroit continue to play on the holiday, but, quote, provided that one of those clubs host a home game with the other club playing away and alternating home and away games each subsequent season. The Eagles then withdrew that proposal. So we're joined by Fox NFL analyst Marshall Harris. But Shannon, I figure you should go first on this one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is it fair that the Lions and Cowboys play at home every Thanksgiving? Is it fair?
No, it's not fair. They don't own Thanksgiving Day games, Skip, but I don't have a problem with it. Because you know why I don't have a problem with it? Because whether it's on Thanksgiving or during the regular season, if you play on Thursday and you're the road team, you're at a disadvantage. So the Cowboys playing a home game and Detroit playing a home game, guess what? There are other teams, there are 16 other teams that have home games during that time on Thursday games that has a decided advantage. Dallas and Detroit took these games when nobody else wanted a part of it.
Nobody.
Now, both of these been playing on Thanksgiving, I think since '66, which was the merger. The merger. And Detroit goes back to the 50s of playing on Thanksgiving. So nobody else wanted them. Now, all of a sudden, Because it is, now it's a different Thursday because normally families get together, you sit around and you watch TV, you talking. A lot of times, I remember the Cowboys was terrible. We sit around and watch them sorry rascals on TV.
Yeah, but you couldn't take your eyes off.
Yeah, I couldn't take my eyes off a team beating them. I was like, get them again.
Well, there you go. You love them or you hate them.
But that's the thing. That's the thing, Skip. They've been doing it for so long, and I get it. But as soon as, guess what? Let's just say, for the sake of argument, the Eagles did not rescind it, and they say, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna rotate it. Broncos, you're gonna get Thanksgiving one year, and Washington, you'll get Thanksgiving, and the Giants, after about 5 or 6 years, you know what? Go and take it back to where it was. Leave it alone. Let the Cowboys, let them have it. Somebody's going to have to go on the road for the 14 other regular season Thursday day games, and somebody's going to be the home team, and someone's going to be the visitors.
Right.
So I don't see what the big deal is.
They added the third game, right? They added the evening games
Yes.
on NFL Network, whatever. I like.
It's on
is
NBC
it,
now.
Yeah. Okay. Is it an advantage? Absolutely, it's an
Yeah.
advantage. Yeah.
Especially if you win.
Right. Well, it's a huge advantage. I mean, to play on Thursday
After
at
Sunday.
home after Sunday, it's a huge advantage for the team that gets the home game.
Yes. Okay.
But like the Lions
it's also
have
a huge advantage to get that little mini
that
bye
mini bye
late
yeah.
in the
so,
year.
You're a
So
10 game.
you would think that the teams would have an issue with this if either of these two teams could take advantage of it. Detroit doesn't take advantage of it because they're Detroit, and Dallas doesn't take advantage of it because
They're
Dallas. So you've got this huge advantage that you play on Thursday and you get the mini bye, and you still haven't won anything, either franchise. So the Eagles probably looked at it and said, "Yeah, this is not fair." And then they go, "Oh yeah, but wait,
They
it's
don't do
Detroit
that.
and it's Dallas. Who cares?"
But you know what? I got a bigger problem with, because guess what? Not only do they get one Thursday game, they play the following Thursday of the next week, so they get too many buys. That's what they need to do away with. Yeah, you don't want to talk about that, but that's the problem.
I'll talk about anything.
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys. My Dallas Cowboys were made for Thanksgiving, and more important, Thanksgiving made my Dallas Cowboys.
Indeed.
You don't, because they always got the late afternoon game, because
Always
the
the 4 o'clock
noon
game.
game,
Yeah.
in the East, it's too early because
Right.
it's going to disrupt your meal,
Right.
right? But most people eat, I think, in time. They finish in time to watch the late afternoon
Right.
game. It's what everybody does. So how did they become America's team? A lot had to do with being in this game.
Yep.
And the great and late Tex Schramm, he was the one who fought for this. They got grandfathered in, and every time they tried to take it away from Dallas, Tex said, no, not on my watch. And they have continued to thwart those lowly Philadelphia Eagles, who should just calm down and just go back to finishing second, third, or fourth in the division, which was what
They'll
they've
win
done
it
for
this year.
years. They've been the doormat of that division for years on end.
They don't want a Super
Yep.
Bowl since the Cowboys.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that changes soon. But the point is, this stage, it detonated the most. Do you remember 1974, Clint Longley? See, this was the game of games when the backup quarterback from Abilene Christian got thrown into the fire against the rival Redskins. This is way before everybody's time, but Roger Staubach got hurt. And he winds up, if we have this tape, here it is right here. He threw this 50-yard touchdown pass. This is a buzzer beater to win the game 24-23.
20, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know you can look for the ball and keep running. You don't look for the ball and stop.
You know what? I think wasn't it Ken Houston? I could be wrong about
might
that.
have been.
I think it was. And he just lost the ball.
love that.
He lost it up in the lights. I don't know what he lost it in, but that was the detonation
about
game.
turkey burgers. That's
That's when That's when Dallas
Kansas Hall of
arrived
Fame,
as
too.
the Thanksgiving Day showcase team.
Right.
And you don't think that kids all around this country, why are kids wearing cowboy jerseys on 8th Avenue in New York, where I used to live? It's because mostly of Thanksgiving. That's when you lock in and say, oh, look, we love those uniforms. We love the way they play. They do sensational, exciting things on Thanksgiving. Except for Leon Lett. Leon Lett didn't do it.
I think the Cowboys in Detroit are probably really excited about having this game. The rest of us who have played it, have you played it in
I
Thanksgiving?
did. I played in 1990.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't stand it.
Because not ready?
Why?
Well, I mean,
because-
I'm in Mountain Time, and I'm
Right.
playing a noon game. That's 10 o'clock.
Right, and the other
At Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit. Yeah.
Yeah, I played. I was in 1992 in Dallas. I was in the afternoon game. So well, you know what? But I could. I hated it, and you don't have that schedule down. That schedule is completely unique to that Thursday. You do it every year. The players on the Dallas Cowboys do it every year. The players on Detroit do it every year. They understand. Like you're grandfathered in, but guys, you got 6, 7, 8, 10 guys on your team, on your roster, 20 guys that have played in that game multiple times.
Okay.
You as a visitor, man, it's completely it completely throws you off, and we're such scheduled creatures as players. It completely throws you off. It's such an advantage to the home team.
And you didn't want to play in Detroit, and not in the 90s, because they had Barry. And more times than not, you were going to lose, and he was going to make you look bad in doing it. Because he ran wild on us. Yeah, he
Very, very right. A lot of people.
Chicago, I covered one in Detroit, Bears against Barry Sanders, who ran wild on Thanksgiving.
It was something about Thanksgiving. They used to play hard back then. I don't know what happened to them now. They don't really play hard now. But they play hard on Thanksgiving back then.
Well, you're just going to have to get used to it.
That's all right.
America wants Dallas on Thanksgiving.
I just want
I
to
don't
stop
think America
playing.
cares about Detroit on Thanksgiving. I could be wrong about
If
that.
they start playing passes, I like it. I like it when they play Carolina.
That was not a pretty sight.
Yeah, Carolina put
That was
that
a
thought to
Tony
it.
Romo special. What did he throw? 3 picks? The
They
2
not-
pick sixes?
Remember Thomas Davis?
Do
Got
I?
him.
Yeah, everybody got him.
Cam was
Kuechly
doing
got
it.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a wipeout. Josh Norman called me out after the game.
Yeah.
It's fine. I got even.
Well, hopefully they don't play Washington again with Sanchez or Colt McCoy at quarterback.
Was that where somebody asked Tony Romo if, the 2 pick sixes? He goes, it felt like more. Like,
Yes, it
that
felt like more to me.
Felt like more.
But he got his shoulder
Re-broke
again.
it. Because they had broke it earlier in the year and he came back.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Good for Tony.
But long as you guys get a decent competitor on that Sunday. That Thursday, because I think sometimes the NFL schedule it so the Cowboys can win.
Oh, you think it's set up? A
now you're gonna
decent
say that?
competitor?
Decent.
Well, what about Washington? Aren't they
Really?
decent last year?
Really, Skip?
Huh? Colt McCoy? Come on.
Colt McCoy.
That was
He got hurt in
before,
that game.
It was scheduled before they lost
Hey,
the quarterback.
it was
right?
scheduled way before.
Yeah, but
they
I'm
had
just saying-
Alex Smith.
No, I don't want Washington.
Huh?
I don't want that.
You don't? Amari Cooper just lit them
They
up.
should just put Philly there, just because Philly was
Put
the one
Philly
that
in
played,
Dallas.
right? And put 'em in.
Always.
You should,
I'll
right?
take that.
Right now, this
I'll
year.
take it.
Okay,
Put
good.
Philly on
Game.
3 days coming to Dallas. I like that.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're not going to go for that.
Hey.
They're the ones
Carson
complaining.
Wentz,
Make them
he's
go
got
on the road
no
and play.
shot
Walk it
against
to
Dak
him.
Prescott. Last year, walked it to him. He bounced it to him all game for 2 games.
Okay.
Yeah.
You say you
got
talking?
you twice last
I want you
year.
to keep that same energy.
Well, I got the same energy because we got this.
You ain't got nothing. See how you doing all that talking?
Yeah.
Oh, we got Randall Cobb, and we got okay.
Yeah.
That same energy.
And I do want to say, Skip, I went to that game in Detroit 2 years ago because I was in town for the game, and the people do care. Maybe not the audience, the national audience like the Cowboys, but the energy inside.
No, it's great.
That
I've been
day
there. I've
At
done that.
kickoff.
was incredible.
At
Yeah.
kickoff.
At kickoff.
It was
By the end of
really
the first
cool to be
quarter.
there. No, it's a tradition. It's Thanksgiving. It's fun, Shannon. You're harsh over there. Okay, Mark, good to have you with us always. Zion Williamson and John Morant are the talk of the tournament. Yeah, we expected that, but who will be the bigger NBA star? We'll discuss next.
No mercy.
Zion Williamson and Duke will be on display tonight in their first tournament game. Zion is projected to be the #1 pick in the draft after averaging about 22 points, 9 rebounds this season. John Morant is projected by many to go #2 behind Zion. He solidified that status yesterday with a triple-double in the upset win over Marquette. So, Shannon, who will have a better NBA career? Are we going Zion or Ja?
I'm gonna take Ja.
Okay.
Really?
I am,
Okay.
because I don't really know what Zion's going to be, Skip. I don't think he's big enough to play the true power forward.
Yep.
Maybe in Barkley's time, because Barkley was way short of his. I think this kid's probably 6'6.5", 6'7". Is he a 3? How well is he going to progress at shooting the basketball? I just don't know, Skip. I just believe I believe Ja is the safer pick. I believe Zion has the bigger upside if he can develop. Because basically what he is, Giannis. Giannis was just a dunker, just a guy that get inside. But you've seen the evolution. If Zion can evolve his game like Giannis has, okay, now you got an MVP. I'm just going to take Ja because I think this kid is, with his athleticism, you plug him in, you know exactly what he is. He's a point guard that can score, but he's looking more to facilitate and get others involved. So I went with Ja.
I am still going back and forth about this.
Really?
And the truth is, I need to see a little more in this tournament to really conclude about this. But I'm going Zion on upside, but star quality. There's something about this kid that is, when we talk about special, like transcendent special. But I'm with you. I don't think he's over 6'6". So when he gets among the trees in the NBA, does he start to look a little more ground bound? But what both these kids have are freakish hops. Both of them do.
Yes.
So they're, like, even Ja's a little undersized at 6'3". He's not the tallest point guard. I mean, Magic was 6'9" point guard, right? LeBron plays point guard at 6'9". So 6'3".
But I mean, he can Kyrie, Mike Conley, Steph Curry. They're 6'3". Russ.
All different. Most of them more shoot first, like score first. And this kid is total pass first. But what I love about Ja is he's scoring 25 with, so to speak, his left hand because he's ambidextrous, like he does it as an afterthought. What I need to see more of from Ja is, what's funny to me is with those freakish hops, his shot is not really a jump shot.
It's a set.
Like it's a set shot.
It is.
Like you can jump out of the gym, but you don't go up and shoot a jump shot. I mean, that was like
his threes almost like LeBron.
He just step back, feet on the floor, shoot it. I mean, LeBron's got huge range, and this kid's got good range. So I don't know. Is he going to develop a jump shot? I don't even see a jump shot. You know, like that 15-foot pull-up jumper. Usually, if you have this, which he does, he's a 34% three-point shooter, but he's an 81% free throw shooter. That translates.
Yes.
That means you can figure out how to shoot at the next level at a higher and higher level.
And he's shooting 50% from the field.
Okay.
Overall.
So again, they're both going to be really good, but there's something about Zion's that big ball of fiery joy that's going to translate because it can make the team better also. Like Duke just feeds off his personality, off his energy, and Ja plays reserved. He plays, it's more low energy, but it's working because it's deliberate, and his teammates know if I get open, the ball's going to hit me right there. And it's not going to be with whipped cream on it. It's just going to be a conventional straight pass, and it's going to work. He's going to change some team's life, but I'm going to say Zion has, if we want to do like literal upside, a little bit more because we're talking about freakish hops with freakish athletic ability at 285 or whatever he weighs.
It was going to be interesting because if he's a 3, that means he has to guard the likes of LeBron, KD, Kawhi, Paul George. If he's a 4, he's going to have to guard Anthony Davis. So I really don't know what he is. I don't think anybody knows what he is right now until they get the measurements and see what he is. Is he 6'4"-ish?
I don't know. You know what? You could be right about that. I don't know. But he can block some shots, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's
because
great.
he's such a quick leaper and has such good instinct anticipation for when.
But he's going to have to develop, like Giannis and LeBron eventually did. He's going to have to develop an outside shot, Skip, because they will build a wall. They're just not going to let you just dunk all your points or just lay it up in the back, against the backboard all game long. You're going to have to develop an outside shot.
I think he's more athletic than Giannis. Seriously. And Giannis, I do. On just body control, air body control.
I think the thing, you know why you say that, Skip? Because he's so big. You've never seen anybody his size be able to jump like he can jump.
And body control, like.
Because Charles Barkley could leap, but he can't leap like this kid.
Nope.
Something interesting, they actually played together for one summer. Did you guys read that? Both from South Carolina. They
were
90 minutes away from each other. Yeah, we need to pull some footage because I don't know if they're friends still or keep in touch, but the two together, it's just cool to think about.
Zion reminded me of myself when I jump. I used to jump like that.
Did you really? Explosive,
you always find a way to bring it back to yourself, Shannon.
I thought you'd say you were more like Zion.
If I was 3-time state triple jump champ, I got up, Skip.
Really?
3 times.
But that's sideways up.
No. Yeah. But you got to be able to.
That's like horizontal up.
Yeah, but you got to, that first one got to get on out there, Skip. Yeah.
I don't think that qualifies.
They qualify.
I'm not sure.
Mike Conley won the slam dunk competition.
I'm not sure you could even dunk. I'm not sure of that.
Now, at this age, Skip, I ain't dunking nothing but donuts.
Yeah.
I don't think we're thinking you could do it right now. Oh, the donuts, though?
Yeah, that's all I got for him.
All right. I can't wait to see what Zion does tonight. Next up, Julio Jones. He is about to get a huge payday. We will explain next.
No mercy.
time for our final topic of the day. It appears that Julio Jones is about to become the highest paid receiver in football. Bleacher Report's Mike Freeman says that Julio and the Falcons are close to an extension that would pay him $20 million a year and over $50 million guaranteed. So, Shannon, what is your reaction to those numbers?
Julio, let me get a loan I can't pay back. He deserves it. I believe he's the best receiver in football, and he does it the right way. Whether he catches for 300 yards in a game, Skip, or he has 2 catches for 20 yards. He's not throwing his helmet. He's not throwing anybody under the bus.
Nope.
And he just does it the right way. I know him a little bit. He's a great guy. Well deserved.
He has just turned 30 years of
Correct.
age. He has played 8 NFL seasons. That's a lot, right? So it's surprising to me, and I'm not sure that the early report could be a little hazy, but it sounds like his deal isn't going to quite match Odell's deal. Was he going to be happy with that just because he turned 30? Would he take a little less than Odell?
But he got years on his contract.
Okay.
But he has 2 years left on his contract.
Yeah.
So you get 4 years, average out to be $20 million a year. He probably going to get 50. Odell got about $41 million at the time of signing. Julio probably get 50.
I think Odell got like 65 total million guaranteed.
Yeah, he got practical guaranteed. So if he get 50 at time of signing,
That's okay with you?
Yeah, that's okay with me.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I'd be okay with O'Shea.
Well, what's going to scare me is all these wide receivers are getting huge contracts,
Yes.
and all of a sudden I got one in Dallas who's also not a diva, who's a good guy. Amari
He ain't
Cooper.
Julio either. He ain't Julio. Don't do
He's
that,
in the
Skip.
ballpark.
No, he ain't no ballpark.
in the ballpark.
Well, Julio knocked it out the ballpark,
Yeah.
so he ain't in that ballpark.
Well, he's going to want the ballpark of this kind of money.
Well, what about your quarterback?
Yeah.
He gonna want Matt Ryan type money too.
Well, he deserves it. He's
Don't do
better
that,
than
Skip.
Matt Ryan.
Oh my goodness!
Huh?
See you how you doing
Well,
No mercy.
Thank you for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Keep an eye out for the weekend edition of the podcast tomorrow morning, featuring this week's best segments. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Fox Sports. One of one.